Wake up, gamers, because you're listening to Big Think Dimension with Dan and Bob Video Games.
I get every joke ever made over the last 8 years.
Temmie Gang, rise up.
Chris Wolfhard.
We really were the dog days.
And Dr. Aggro.
I still haven't finished Undertale, no spoilers.
Here on GigaBoots.
We played Undertale.
Whoa.
How'd that go?
It was great, actually. It was fucking...
Imagine if every song in the game was good.
Just every. Literally every.
The rest of the game could be icing at that point.
Imagine if an indie game was actually really funny instead of making you want to claw your skin off every time a character said something.
That's, cool.
Yeah.
It helps when you have heart to what you're doing instead of you presumably typing the entire script with the game with an int J stare or crossed arms.
It helps a lot when your idea of a joke isn't relitigating an internet argument you lost.
Yeah, it does. That does help a lot, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Take notes, Birch.
Never.
Is Birch doing anything? Is he doing it?
I don't think he's allowed to do anything
is
anymore
he
than
on
be on a
that-
podcast.
Yeah, I'm like, isn't he on that D&D podcast? Isn't that what he's up to?
Yeah, that's pretty much all he does, except when his sister gets him a pity job.
That and Freddie Wong's on that too.
Yeah.
I don't listen to that podcast. I just know it's out there and it exists. Man. Listeners, I feel like you all did a terrible job of telling people Undertale was good. No one's talking about this game, and no one ever did.
Yeah, that's how it worked. That's what happened.
I will, in fact, not say anything about Undertale, because clearly, Aggro is going to go finish it right now.
Yeah, I'm sure.
There are no other games coming out. He definitely doesn't need to do multiple runs of Baldur's Gate.
I didn't trap him in a maze right as all the most games start coming out.
Yeah, what the
Son
hell?
of a bitch.
What
Yeah,
is
how dare
wrong
you?
with you? How could you do that?
I just picked Aggro up and threw him into that polygon from Superman 2 and he flew off into space.
Yes.
And then Aggro basically pulled a fucking Garlic Jr. and cackled and said, "I'm not owned," as he flipped on the Z-axis. Oh, man. It seems really stupid to gush about Undertale. We can agree on that, right?
Yeah,
it
I
is
don't
the
think we
year
don't-
2023.
Right. Everybody knows.
I loved that game. That was a delightful game. For people who are unaware, or in historical reasons, I will put this here so people can listen to this and understand. We put chat in a cage,
Right.
and they were doing just fine. They were emote only. The only people who could talk were mods. It was a fantastic stream. It was so fun. It was so good. That game is delightful. Every song rules. Basically, every character's great.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm literally like, okay, Dan, think of a bad character in Undertale. And
It's
I'm like,
not possible.
there's the one that was hidden where if we played the game like a couple weeks sooner, we would have run into them. But
No, you wouldn't have. It's so fucking hard to find that character.
no, we would have. There's no way we could have gone live on that day and someone would have been like, allow me to direct you to the hidden character.
They can't do that with emotes, so it's fine.
Yeah, I don't think our mods would have directed us.
No, absolutely not. Why? Why would they?
Well, because it's content. We've got to see it all. No, it was really good. We actually didn't even hit the Temmie village until after we beat the game.
Yeah.
That was really fucking Undertale's really good, you guys. Very mild spoilers for Aggro, so apologies, Aggro.
Go for it.
I thought we were gonna fight Sans. That was a fucking weird ass moment to be like, no, we're good. I assume that motherfucker just wrecked you on every playthrough. Not only the one.
Yeah, I thought there might be like a really easy Sans fight.
Like
sort of
anything,
thing.
yeah.
Anything. Some place to hear the theme,
Yeah.
but no.
No, it was really good. We did our peak fucking playthrough. And then I go check out Retro Island Gaming's playthrough where he's screaming in chat, "No, they're monsters. I'm the good guy." Chat, this is a good ending because I'm the good guy. And I just cracked up so hard. It was so fucking good. Oh, man.
I didn't know Retro Island Gaming worked for the military industrial complex.
Oh man. Yeah, no. So that game's great. It's really great seeing other people play it, which I immediately did after we finished playing it by going and looking up Riggs VOD. I appreciate that the funny gimmicks they do on PC, while really great as a game playing experience, might have made streaming it more of a nightmare. So I'm glad we did it on PS4.
Yeah, that would have been real bad.
There's only really one gimmick, I think.
Yeah, but depending on how you perform, you might be looped through that one gimmick several times at the end of your stream and just be like, I just want to go home.
So no spoilers for aggro, but there is a fight in that game where if you lose on PC, it just closes the game.
Yeah.
So he's good stuff.
He's setting up the capture over and over again.
Yeah, it's like that. This is really great. Not for streaming. No.
It is very fun to know somebody at the time back in the day when it was coming out. Like my friends on Steam would play, and I'd be like, "This person's playing Undertale. This person's playing Undertale. This person's playing Undertale. This person's playing Undertale." It's like, oh, I know. It's like, oh, I know what's going on. It's like when somebody's like, "I'm gonna play this Bethesda game," and then you see that for them, and it's like, oh, you're trying to mod it, aren't you?
Yes, exactly. I've had that experience of watching people boot a Bethesda game 17 times, and I'm like, oh, Jim's just trying to get all of his mods to work together.
That's too many.
Some are more powerful than others.
It's always scary back in the day when you're playing an MMO and you see somebody in your guild log in, log out, log in, log out, log in, log out. Oh shit, they're hacked.
Oh,
yeah,
that's rough. But yeah, I stayed really blind on Undertale. I'm kind of shocked.
Yeah, surprisingly little was spoiled.
Yeah. Good job, internet.
Right.
I assume everyone was that respectful to everyone on the internet about Undertale.
Yeah,
right, guys.
We didn't just run away whenever someone started talking.
I feel like people don't talk about the actual story of Undertale all that much. I feel like it's mostly this character's funny, and that's kind of a hard thing to absorb, like via osmosis.
Yeah, obviously, because humor's so personal and nuanced.
And if you don't know what it is, you don't even look at it. Like your brain doesn't metabolize. This is a joke about a thing I didn't play.
The thing, though, okay, some part of this is that when I bought the game, what was it, 7 years ago at
Something
this point?
like that.
On Steam, 7 or so years ago. I swear to God, I played the tiniest bit. And on YouTube, around when Undertale was blowing up and stuff, I did run into the spider dance video. And I was like, this is delightful, man. Listen to this music. I sure wish this was a higher bitrate here in this video. But this sounds delightful. I love this. What the hell's any of this? All I'm seeing is a cute dancing spider. That's all I got. And that doesn't do anything for spoilers.
No,
other than, hey, this is a cute spider in this game.
You see a dancing robot, it's like, that's a dancing robot. I don't know what else to tell you.
Yeah, that didn't fucking absorb at all.
Right.
There's no way that moment's spoiled by that. It's just freaking Siva got a shrine, but literally is not. I'm like, what the fuck is... Okay. That doesn't mean anything to me. And then I move on. Yeah, this is going to sound really stupid, but if it's 2023. If you haven't played Undertale, if you haven't been in Undertale, maybe go do that, because that's like a great game. That is like a really great game. That would have probably topped my Game of the Year list in 2015.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like
I think that was my Game of the Year that year.
It does something I always wanted in RPGs of like, no, you need to... There's always been that weird thing in RPGs where you're fighting just weird random goblins and stuff that isn't sentient, and then you are all of a sudden killing people and there's no acknowledgement of it. So it's cool to have a game that's like, hey, let's just do that. Let's
right
acknowledge that that's weird.
And it's like explicit and outspoken, not only in the material itself, but also like Toby Fox has been very clear on. I always thought that was weird.
Yeah.
You just transition from monsters to a human being.
Mm-hmm.
And at no moment do you acknowledge, what, he was a problem. Problem solved. Yeah, it's the only note I have for Undertale, I really wish that game ran at over 30 frames per second.
Yeah, it being 30 really is just the only part that's like, no, this is just bad. It should be honestly remade at 60 or higher.
Honestly, yeah, it'd be great if we just got a remaster of that game that just don't do anything with the assets.
No, nothing.
Just run it better. And I know this is really a moonshot here. Make all the music lossless in the entire game. It's really good. But yeah, you go and you play like, or maybe you don't, the Sand Simulator, which is running in WebGL. And my brain was like, I wonder if they coded it to run at the same frame rate. No, it runs at whatever your monitor is. So I went from playing that game at that frame rate to 144 hertz Sans fight. And I'm like, this is amazing. That's it. That's the only notes. It's the only notes. Elsewise, absolutely immaculate game. That game is a 10 game.
Yeah, easy.
That's what's the shortcoming of the game? It ended. It didn't even end quickly. That was like we did not even everything you can do in the game.
No, there's still stuff I would like to have gone back and done.
And it was over 11 hours.
Yeah, no, that's plenty long. It honestly didn't need to be any longer. We even dog dated everything we could.
Yeah, we did all the dog nations. But now I'm like, I want to do the dog nations on every platform because every platform has a different dog shrine.
Yes.
Yeah, I really need to play it again someday because I played it the day it came out and haven't touched it since.
It's funny, I was watching a thing and I was like, the things I heard about him adding it after launch is like, I made it easier for colorblind people. Like there's not a huge like I completely changed or I added this gigantic.
No,
it sounds like the game was pretty locked in from day one.
He gave Burger Pants weird dialogue about Metaton making him wear costumes that I don't even know how you trigger because it was added in after the fact.
Man, that conversation's great.
I love that guy.
That guy's
He's
so
fucking
good.
fucked up.
Okay, Aggro, mild spoilers for Undertale.
Go for it.
There's a fast food service employee who will not talk to you unless you buy food from him, and then he's allowed to talk to you.
He's terminally anxious. All his expressions just reek of I need to be on medication. I can't afford it because I'm an American. And he will randomly spawn cigarettes in his talking sprites because he's also a chain smoker.
Yeah, it's really good. Absolutely delightful. I'm excited to revisit the VR chat world for Undertale. Because when we hit MTT, like that station, that area, I was just like, oh shit, there's actually, I thought that might have been Deltarune at this point because nothing in this game looked like that. Yeah, no, that's really cool. I want to walk around there and see what more stuff is like referenced in that. Because they even have the fountain just spewing water on the ground. And I was staring at that with no frame of reference for Undertale, just going, what? Why is this fountain just spewing water on the ground? Which they explain in the game.
Right.
And that's a good explanation. Because, once again, there is nothing in that game that's bad. Ugh. Man. Rough week for Spider-Man 2 to come out. It makes you feel bad for Insomniac that they have to compete with me finally playing Undertale. I don't have anything else I want to say about Undertale because it would be spoilers. And also, I'd spend forever talking about all the shit I loved in that game. The VOD's over up on GigaVods.com. You can go check that out. we all played Spider-Man. Some of
Yeah.
us in a single 15-hour sitting.
Holy shit.
So the reason I feel like a firework post being used this week today is because we did 2 12-hour streams, and in the in-between time, I did a 15-hour session of Spider-Man 2. Did you get the platinum in 15 hours? No.
I was gonna say, oh, he ain't done.
No. Not even close. Like, there's
Yeah,
so much
I'm
in that
probably
game.
not even gonna get the platinum because I looked at one and I'm like, so there's a gadget you get in the game that helps with stealth,
Mhm.
and one of the trophies is do stealth takedowns on 30 guys using this gadget, and I'm like, okay, one, I didn't do that because the combat in this game is so much better. I'm like, fuck stealth, I have a parry. And I did every single like stealth thing, and then looked at the trophy and went, oh, well, I'm certainly not going to swing around for random crimes and try to do them stealth. I guess it's just over.
What gadget is for stealth?
The web line.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can just walk over and do
I
it.
thought there was something else. So
Right, I'm like, is there something about the concussion grenade I don't remember?
that web line's great though. Like that actually makes the cell sections way better.
Oh, yeah.
Like this is
Yeah.
what should have been in the game from the beginning.
It feels a lot more like Spider-Man to do something like this. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, like both mechanically and thematically. Like looking back at the literal web you've woven in the upper part of this gymnasium with dudes hanging from it is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really, really good. And that's how, Raimi would have ended a fight. Just a bunch of dudes hanging from a web line on the ceiling. So it feels really good. It feels really good to see that feature added to make those stealth segments a lot more on brand and enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of what I could say. This game looks nuts. Insane. There's not a mode you can play this game in where it doesn't look fucking incredible. I also appreciate how much this game has the absolutely insane set pieces that you generally don't see in open world games. There's an opening sequence and an ending sequence that are both really incredible and bespoke.
Yeah, it seems like that happens many times throughout. Like the only side mission stuff feels like it's really relegated to just open world.
Mm-hmm. And it's not, to me, bad. No.
Yeah, even then, a lot of them end in like custom buildings, big multi-room complexes of stuff specific. Like some of the hunter bases were like really cool interior spaces to stealth around.
Yeah. Yeah, it's radical how much better this is than the first Spider-Man. In so many ways that are even hard to articulate. It's just an experience that's constantly washing over you.
Echo, did you beat the game? I'm curious.
Yeah, I rolled credits this morning.
Okay. Yeah, because it's actually not that long, which I appreciate.
Yeah, it's one gaming session long.
Yes, it's so glad. It's so good when games don't have to be 45 hours long.
Yeah.
And it's not like there isn't more content.
Mm-hmm.
There's plenty in there probably to keep you busy somewhere up to around 30 hours.
Probably.
Yeah, I did. That's about what my playtime is, and I did almost everything.
Yeah. You see a lot of that wizardry that you saw in like if you think about it, the only other truly next gen game from Sony is Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. Like,
yeah, I guess
from
so.
a big studio, like you could be like Returnal, and I would say fuck you.
Yeah,
but
like God of War Ragnarok is cross-gen,
so the bones of it have to run.
Right.
There are moments in this where you go, yes, that next gen sauce.
Mm-hmm.
Where it just happens and you go, wow, that was seamless. And I'm not even just talking about fast travel, which is another way where it's just nuts.
It's so insane that the most impressive, like one of the few things that I've seen on these new consoles that made me go, holy shit, that's a next gen thing you couldn't do. That isn't just bad particle effects I wish weren't there. Is that fast travel thing, which I barely used because you move so fucking fast.
Mm-hmm.
Even normally, now that you have the web wings and the traversal skills to gain height or speed without swinging even.
Yeah.
And you're also moving through an open world that has like interesting collectibles to find and stuff to look out for, and it's incredibly gorgeous.
Yeah, the spider bots were smart because that ensured I
Yeah.
didn't fast travel constantly because I'm like, well, I want to find more spider bots.
Yeah, you know, as I said, played in one sitting, and that game's just constantly like a fucking waterfall on your head, covering you in cool shit to do in between spot to spot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because at no point did I overtly sit there and be like, oh, I'm going to grind this region in order to unlock everything. Because early on, you don't have the side missions unlocked in order to raise your rep in a region enough to get fast travel in every region.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what made me go, okay, I guess I'm playing through the game and I'll worry about that as I go. Like maybe
I
never.
really like that I don't think the crimes increase your reputation at all, like the random ones. So they built in like, no, you can't just swing around in a circle and farm these crimes to get your rank up.
I thought they did. I thought they gave you points.
I don't think so. I think it's only the things that show up on the map.
I think the scale of magnitude's much more in the favor of the important map stuff.
It might be just so unbelievably tiny it isn't feasible. But I'm pretty sure it doesn't even pop up the bar.
Like the spider bots get you so much more that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Like this took a second. I'd rather do that than do one of these prowler dens.
It's really funny that they kept the crime style that was like runaway car. It's like, do you know how fast I am now?
I'm glad that they improved them a lot because now they're like a quarter of the length they were in the previous games. Because you just land on the car and it's over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You don't
Right.
have to bash buttons to slowly stop the car with the webs, or you eat shit. You don't have to do left stick moving left and right in order to dodge the criminal and then beat them up. And I'm like, good, because that sucked. That was not good. Like there's a version of this that could be good, but you stripping out all the inputs basically entirely is better. So thank you. You have improved yet another thing. In traveling through the city is so much more because of the visuals. Unique feeling because every building reflects light and has interiors that look unique. And the city is so dense and it's populated on the street level that it's just kind of nuts to travel through. Like in a way that like makes the PS4 version look kind of bad, like terrible almost. Because in comparison, it looks so flat. Absolutely stunning. And I really enjoyed the combat and the character moments and story in this. It is so much better than it was in Miles Morales, and I believe much better than the first one as well.
Yeah, I like
I
the
don't know
first
about
one
the
a
first
lot.
one, but Miles I was kind of down on in a lot of ways. It's been so much. It feels like you find out who the Tinkerer is so quick, and then you just have to live with that for 8 more hours.
Yeah, the Miles story is really rough in that Miles game, honestly.
It's like this.
There's these little highlights, but everything else is so bad.
Yeah, and this game, when it's doing writing with the characters, it reinforces themes and ideas that are resonant with Spider-Man, that Spider-Man is about, and make for really amazing conflicts and set pieces. And then you play Miles Morales, and it's like, you don't even have like good character motivation.
Yeah, and then Miles is writing well in this, so it works.
Right.
It
You
worked
get a good
out.
contrast. But yeah, we didn't want to talk too much about Spider-Man 2 on this big thing to mention.
Right.
But I think I said everything I want to say here, Bob.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't think there's anything else I really need to highlight.
Chris.
Oh wait, I got used to his face during this game,
Yeah.
which I didn't
didn't.
expect.
Almost. I got
did
close.
not.
Like
I just hate
Then
it
I
more
looked up
now.
a picture of the old one and it was over.
I
Yeah.
haven't done that, so I'm safe.
Every time he just looks off compared to every other character, and I can't explain how. It's just every time they pull the mask off, I'm like, oh, that's terrible. Put it back on. Maybe if Peter had the hair he has in the high school flashbacks, it would have helped.
Also, they made the Mary Jane segments good, so incredible. How'd they do it?
I wish I could talk about that here, but I agree. And what they did kind of fucking blew my mind. I was just like, Insomniac, this is rude. How could you ship this?
But that's all I got to say. I don't want
Right.
to go into it.
Yeah, we don't want to go into that. Aggro.
I want to state for the record that I believe every boss fight in this game should be about one phase shorter.
They do just tend to go on a little longer than they should, honestly. I'm like, okay, I see the pattern. Do we really do this again?
Great, I'm out of powers now. I guess I'm gonna punch him for 5 more minutes. This is cool.
See, maybe, but at the same time, there was a couple fights where it's like, oh, you were trying to say some emotional shit, and I just did a Marvel combo on you for this entire entire bar, so it's gone now.
Yeah, I had that experience because I died at a boss and then I retook him, and I was so on top of him damage-wise that imagine there are 3 different parts of his dialogue. I zipped all the way to 2 so fast and so hard, it skipped 3 and just slammed him dead. And I was like, he started saying something there, and I don't know what that was about. For me, I've played plenty of video games I would absolutely agree on, but weirdly enough with this one, I felt like the length of the fight was, to me, it felt like struggle. And to me, that was important for what was happening in those moments. But I've definitely played a lot of video games where it's like, yeah, no, absolutely, fucking one of these health bars has to go. So I totally get where you two are coming from. I don't know. For me, it worked this time.
Yeah, I think that there's just a few of them that really didn't.
I wish they didn't tell you how many phases bosses were on their health bar.
Maybe that's
I'd rather not
but,
know.
But here's the thing. Maybe that's part of what made it okay for me to know, like, you know, kind of like in a death stream when I go, okay, how long in the long play are we right now? Will I get to see my wife before she goes to work tomorrow morning at like 7 a.m.? You know, seeing how many health bars there are communicated gives me a level of sanity. It gives me a level of expectation and stuff that allows me to give it that tolerance. Because chances are, if it didn't have that, I'd probably be lining up with you and Aggro and be like, yeah, I knocked that fucker down twice. And he was like, I have a 3rd phase. And I went, how do you still have
We're
gas?
not done talking about my feelings.
Fucking Shining over here just being like, you didn't let me finish.
Also, I know Miles is getting dragged publicly right now for one particular costume, which is a shame because the rest of his lineup is fucking banger after banger.
He has great costumes, and then he shows. So, like, minor spoilers.
Let me hit the music. Oh,
Miles
we got the visuals for the people coming in. We gotta let them.
Okay,
where the fuck is the fucking? Why is this not the topmost image? We do this like fucking almost every week. Oh, there we go.
There it is.
I just think it's laughable that Spider-Verse, when it's like, Miles, you need to make your own costume to become your own Spider-Man, delivers one of the best superhero costumes in like 2 decades. Where he has the spray painted logo in the hoodie, and it's fucking great. Then in this game, he's like, Miles, you have to make your own costume, and he shows up looking like a children's shoe.
yeah, he's got the cool gel.
That's like, and it seems to have that texture.
Yeah.
From how it's the most photorealistic game ever made. And like, you made him a shoe, he's a shoe.
No, it's true. It's true.
The whole game, also, I was like, oh, Miles has a new hairstyle. That should be cool, but somehow he's made this hairstyle dorky.
Right.
I can't explain it, but he has.
Yeah. One of the first things I saw on Twitter after I unmuted, all the Spider-Man things I could think of in order to not get spoiled.
Right.
Was people putting him through the fucking wheat thrasher for that outfit. And I'm like, okay, so it's not just me. Got it. Because I could even deal with the shoe part if it isn't like the cap.
Yeah.
The cap of it is terrible. It should be cool.
It should be. It really should
be cool. It should be cool.
Also, I haven't read Spider-Man in 20 years. Did they change his powers to be able to work with shoes on?
Who, Spider-Man?
Yeah, like sticking to walls with shoes.
Yeah.
I think he's always been able to do that for years and years and years. Like, he did that in the 90s cartoon all the time.
I remember for the longest time it was in the comics, like that he had to have really thin shoes on so his fucking shit would work.
See, this is funny because my experience is the movies. I haven't gone back and watched the cartoon or read the comics. And in the movies, they have multiple moments in the different movies where you see he's like supporting his weight with his hands entirely. And I was like, that's weird because he always positions kind of like his feet aren't doing anything because, it's a set that's flat and they turned the camera. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I've never been clear on if they had a consistent lore for that because, like, the Sam Raimi movies you see the little hairs coming out of his fingers and everywhere they can grip. But I don't know.
Everywhere.
I don't know if that's just how he works or not. I don't care that much.
This actually inspired me to go back and read some of the old comics, and he's like sticking to walls with the bottom of his feet, like 2 issues in the very original.
Okay. So, well, I'm going to take us out of the spoiler segment.
I didn't expect the game to remind me so much of Web of Shadows on the PS3.
Meanwhile, I kept thinking of Spider-Man 3 on the PS3, which is one on Donathon goals, and I'm like, oh god, that's going to be a really different playthrough now. Why did that disappear? Oh, okay. Let's see. Okay. It's really funny that, Peter's redesign happened.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the remaster. And Miles, I feel like his model's different now, too, just a little. And it's funny because it's like Miles' mild redesign, he's handsome. He's more handsome now. Peter's redesign, I don't want to be mean on camera.
Oh, minor thing, not even a story spoiler. It has nothing to do with the story. You change the whole structure of Peter's fucking face between games, but you won't like front load them changing the name of Miles' dad, so it isn't the name of the president of the Confederacy.
Nope, that's his name. Sorry, you don't get a choice.
They changed it in the comics. He's like, I don't know why my dad named me that, but I'm gonna use my wife's name now.
Wow. Wow. Okay. I think that's it.
Yeah.
I think we're good. People being insane online has been funny around this game because I think the best take has been console fanboys are bored and have nothing actually good to say this year. So they're just comparing Mary Jane's ass to a random shot of Starfield and then talking about how MJ's woke because she's not as hot as she should be when Peter looks the way he does. And I'm like, what are you even saying? Do you think Peter's the Giga Chat over there? Like, what the fuck are you saying?
The status quo has been so fucking the same for so long where it's like, over at Xbox, there's nothing. Over at Sony, there's third-person cinematic game that has open world elements, and that's been the status quo for like 9 years.
Mm-hmm.
So people are just starting to go insane. It's like how if once a joke has been used too much, people start posting manifestos about that joke because they're bored of seeing it. It's literally just that. People are tired. People are tired of Sony releasing the same game that sells 30 million copies or 20 million. They're not Nintendo. They're only Sony.
Yeah. No, it's true.
And so everybody has to be insane.
I'll tell this anecdote here because I feel like it shouldn't just exist in a Castlevania stream.
Okay.
But so as I said, I unmute Twitter, all these tags and words on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And then I come across the person who's just writing about how insane these fanboys are for comparing Mary Jane's butt to a picture of a butt from Starfield that's from a mod that made the butt bigger on PC. And that these are the comparison images they're using for how Chad-like it is over at Xbox. And I'm like, wow, that sounds insane. I could see why you would just simply lie and use a mod that made the ass giant if you were an insane person that wanted to win the internet. Then I see the butt, like that came up later in the For You tab, and I'm like, dude, that's not even huge. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, I somehow missed all of this.
This was insane. I'm like, the internet's lost its goddamn mind.
Yeah, it's like there's nothing in Spider-Man 2 I'd really call below par, so you have to go insane to like there's things that are really great about the game and then things that are like, you know, a little bit above par or just par, but there's nothing I can point out and say that part of it's bad.
Right.
Even if you take that criticism on its own terms, just show them a picture of Venom's ass.
Or show them a picture of Peter's ass.
No, it's true.
gotta
Well,
be-
but that would feed into the woke argument because only men can have giant asses anymore. And then the Xbox Bro would have to post a picture of Venom's ass and Mary Jane's ass, and you'd be like, how come Mary Jane's ass isn't luscious like Venom's? And then some other Xbox Bro would be, dude, what are you, gay? And then he would delete his account.
Oh, I have to apologize to Insomniac. I was all back in the day. I was always like, man, they greebled the shit out of these suits. Every suit has to have some weird texture all over it and little lines. And then you unlock the classic black suit, and it's just smooth and weird.
Oh, it's so good. The squares are back. Fuck those chevrons.
But I just use the Scarlet Spider suit for most of the game because it's rad.
This was possibly my first experience on the PS5 where I know these people put a lot of effort into the fidelity mode looking on paper much, much, much better than the performance mode.
Okay.
And I still switched and went, dude, what the fuck?
That's not that different.
The performance mode looks incredible already. And then the fidelity mode is like, I'm sure I can turn it on and figure it out. But the fact it doesn't hit me immediately is crazy.
Yeah, I don't think I even bothered looking at it. Like, I probably should at some point just to know. But
I used that mode for approximately an hour of my playthrough, just because you can uncap the frame rate if you have VRR, and then it runs at like 40-ish to 50-ish a lot of the time on that mode. I don't doubt that on the PS5 Pro, it's a locked 60. It probably runs in that mode as well as the PS5's running the performance mode, a little bit less. But it's kind of crazy. Like in a lot of other games, you can turn on fidelity mode and be like, oh, I can notice. But here I got to look at the hair and be like, oh, the hair looks bad on performance mode.
the hair still looks really good on performance mode, honestly.
The what?
The hair still looks really good on performance mode.
It's not like, you know, some games where the hair looks absolutely rock bottom.
Right. It's almost at that hair RE4 hair mode that you can't turn on or the game will crash.
Yeah, I don't know about that good. That thing, that is like you imported hair into a video game. Did you use the Tron computer to scan it? How the fuck did you do this?
Fuck you, Dan, video games, because ever since your discussion about temporal AA, I now see it constantly.
I'm sorry.
Not so much in Spider-Man 2. It's there a little bit in Spider-Man 2, but another game I played this week, I just see their hair be all fucked up and I'm like, oh, that's temporal AA. Gotcha.
Yeah, I know what game you're talking about. It is egregious there and the worst looking part of that game.
I don't know what game they're talking about. I'm so excited to find out. The reason why it isn't as heinous in the Insomniac games is because they actually curb against causing weird noise at a loss of detail. Like they could have more detail in the image. It could look sharper. But then their temporal AA would cause more artifacts and problems. So that's a part of it. I know because when their games come to PC, you can see it, their temporal AA, which I forget what they call it, it's IGTI, because it's Insomniac Games Temporal Injection. You can see that compared to FSR2, DLSS, and etc. And you can see, yes, this other thing has more detail, but it also has a shitload more artifacts. So I'll take the Insomniac solution. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. I'm clean.
I remembered one last thing I needed to point out. I was wrong about something in the Gamer Premonitions episode for this game.
Impossible.
And I am now terrified of 3.
Should I play the... I guess you'll have to tune in to our follow-up Spider-Man content to find out what aggro was wrong about.
Right.
I'm
yeah.
gonna
Yeah. We
tease you
can't
with
talk about that now.
Every episode of Force Feedback comes with us reading every premonition we made and whether or not it was right.
Nope. We're just gonna say we were always right, and nobody's ever gonna check us.
That's what's that?
It would be funny to have a separate podcast just for that.
Patreon exclusive. You can only know if we were wrong over at patreon.com/GB podcast. Gamer receipts. But we played a lot of games in the last week.
We did
8 Castlevania games.
more, I think.
Are you sure? Because it was one on Friday,
Right.
and then
Was it only 7 yesterday? Because it felt like
it was 7. 7. I beat 7 Castlevania games on yesterday's stream as a part of the dot level Classicvania challenge. Castlevania is a really great franchise. I highly recommend people play Classicvanias and Castlevanias. Igavanias are a great way to get eased into that. So good. However,
maybe not all of them.
maybe not all of them in a row. Especially.
Yeah.
Haunted Castle is a meme game. Don't pay money for it unless you just want to laugh at the art and sound effects. As a rock falls down near Simon Belmont and it makes a Hanna-Barbera donk sound. Understand, your money's just been spent on you laughing at that in that moment. If you don't laugh, your money was wasted. Castlevania 3 USA, they cranked up the difficulty. It's very unfortunate. Castlevania 3 Japan has an amazing soundtrack that's so much better. However, the Dracula fight is mildly harder in Japan, so I don't know. I'm going to maybe both sides of this because I beat both on that stream, and then I actually had any amount of difficulty with Dracula in the Japanese version and got really confused in that moment. I'm like, why didn't you give me the fire?
It's so fucked up that so many devs back in the day just heard about rentals in America and then immediately turned to American kids and said, "We're gonna kill you."
Yeah, I think that, like, I can't condone what happened to Castlevania 3 because, like, no, you don't checkpoint a Dracula.
Yeah, it's
That's
fucked up.
unacceptable.
Yeah,
like,
that's
that
fucked up.
should never be the first way you play that game. You have to have a chance to learn that fight.
Oh, no. My assessment there was not, it's okay that they did this. In no way did I imply that it's actually a good and based version of this game. It is fucked up that they delete the checkpoint at Dracula. So you have to do 2/3 of the level in order to get there. And that's not even the worst part. The worst part is there's jumps across 3 pendulums to the door that gets you to the beginning of Dracula's segment. They added bats in America to knock you off into the pit. And they keep spawning. And they spawn on random sides. Is it left? Is it right? Who knows? Unacceptable.
Yeah.
But if I get to Dracula, I can defuse him now like a bomb. Admittedly, in Japan, he can't aim his lasers right.
Right.
So that's nice.
Yeah, looking at that, I was like, man, yeah, if Dan didn't have the muscle memory from the other game, this would be insanely easy.
Yeah, what was it, the first time or the second time I finally realized, wait a minute, he can't aim his fucking lasers. Dracula has arthritis.
Right?
Yeah. But yeah, if you could play some Castlevanias, that'd be really cool because those games are great. My understanding of the Castlevania difficulty curve has been so alien to everyone else's at this point now where I don't even know what to say is the hard one anymore. I don't know. Because I came out of the Haunted Castle part of that stream being like, or not Haunted Castle, Castlevania Chronicles, the PS1 port of the X68000 PC game.
Mm-hmm.
I came out of that going, that's so hard. It's so difficult. Oh, Jesus. And then it's like, Dan, you took about as long 4 years ago when you did it on Castlevania. Probably helps that was a single video and not a 12-hour stream. And I'm like, oh, I thought I totally ate shit on this game. Never mind. Aside from that, I think I'm good. There are only 2 games left on the Classicvania challenge, which I'm hoping to get done by the end of the month. It would be really unfortunate if I beat both versions of Castlevania 3 and didn't get every game beaten.
Yeah.
Those games are Dracula X Chronicles, the PSP 3D remake of Rondo of Blood. Oh, we also played Dracula XX. Gross game. Terrible game. Don't play Dracula XX. Do not play the Super Nintendo game, Dracula X. Do not do that.
Yeah.
Literally
play it after you beat Rondo to see how fucked up it is.
Or that. Speaking of which, I woke up today, Bob, and I realized we didn't even do the worst level in that because I didn't fall down that hole, because I remembered what's down that hole. And I'm like, oh, thank fucking God I didn't fall down that hole. It's marsh. You just slowly sink into the mud and have to walk. Anyway. So it's Dracula X Chronicles, the 3D remake of Rondo Blood, and Castlevania The Adventure Rebirth, which I'm very interested in how I'll feel about that game this time, after having gone through all of the rest of these.
Right.
I don't know.
I mean,
it's been 4 years, and I wasn't in love with it last time.
Right. Nothing's going to make the art good, but,
But these sound effects with their Hanna-Barbera qualities.
Right. Maybe you'll be like, oh, Haunted Castle.
Yeah, I'll be like, oh, that's a reference to Haunted Castle. It's so good. And then I'll clap.
Yeah.
I'll be like, the eyeball fell down and made a gajow sound that comes in a free library. Great. I'm excited to do those. Who knows when we're going to stream that by the end of the month, but expect that. You playing a video game?
I play a few things.
Oh, okay. What'd you been playing?
I booted up Mario Wonder because I bought that last week.
I also played a bunch of Mario Wonder.
This better not be the game.
I'm currently playing Mario Wonder.
This better not be the fucking game with temporal AA problems.
No.
No.
Thank God.
Yeah, no. I only played like the first stage. I didn't want to talk too much about it.
Because we're streaming it tomorrow with Eric.
Yes, we're going to do that. But this game was a lot of fun. They have a lot of cool ideas for what to do with different level designs and powers. So that's exciting. What a cool game.
Yeah. If I could just
go for it.
The only thing I have to say about this game, because I haven't played it, is how frustrating it is that people are like, wow, it's amazing that we needed this game to come out to realize how bad and plain new Super Mario Bros. Look. And I'm like, no, you didn't.
Nobody needed that.
You just need to look at a thing and imagine if it looked better. Get an imagination.
Maybe the guy who's been a Nintendo YouTuber for a decade needed this game, but I didn't. Because I've been saying it since New Super Mario Brothers 2 came out. That's the 3DS one where it's like collect 1 million coins and see what happens. And what happens is the title becomes gold. It took you 45 hours.
It's been so weird. Just the years of people being like, what are you talking about? These look great. And I'm like, no, they look pretty bad. Like, it's fine that they look bad. They're simple games, but it could look much better. Like, look at Odyssey and then look at that. This isn't hard.
Yeah, there was literal dev interviews before this came out. Like, well, we spent a lot more money on like animations, on giving things visual character in this game because we didn't want to be outdone by the movie. People would be coming in after the movie. We knew the movie was going to come out. We didn't want people coming in, it's flat, it's boring. We wanted to have that same sense of wonder that the movie would give people.
Good. And that's why they added elephant powers.
Not gonna lie, I was skeptical about how cool elephant powers would be, and they're pretty sweet.
Oh, damn.
It's funny because the elephant powers actually have unique animations for going down pipes and through doors because they're bigger.
Yes,
it's great.
Yeah, there's every little animation seems to have a lot of character to it in this game, which is great.
So, Bob, you've played one level. Is it your game?
One set of levels.
Oh, okay. Is it your game of the year?
No. I know. Devastating.
I'm going to have to fire Bob because he has no joy in his heart because he doesn't like the same games as me as much as me. It's not even just you don't like the same games. It's that you don't like them enough.
Yeah.
That game sounds incredible. Everyone's gushing about it. I'm so excited to play it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because holy crap. Chris, you got anything to talk about?
Yeah, I played some stuff.
Oh, no, I meant about Mario. Because
Mario.
Bob unfortunately has hidden daggers under his coat.
I do.
It's really good. I don't know what else to say about it. It's easily like the most exciting Mario thing since Odyssey.
Yeah.
Man, I need them. I need them to be like, we did it again. There's a 3D Mario with this launching with this thing too. When they announce or out the same year as the Switch 2.
Yeah, that'd be pretty incredible if the Switch 2 came out and had something like that.
Obviously, I agree.
Yeah, right.
I wish they had kept the flower being tsundere to you. They said that initially the flower was explicitly tsundere, and they like evened it out and made it more neutral, which was a mistake.
In everything I've experienced, watching trailers and other things, I like that the flower seems to have an energy of another tourist at the theme park you're at.
Uh-huh.
Yes,
Just
it does. It
musing
very
out
much has
loud
that.
at the thing that happened.
Yeah, a lot of, well, that was something.
There's a couple moments in this game where I went, what the wait, you're doing this? How are you doing this? This is in a Mario game? What the fuck?
Yeah, I heard. I listened to Jeff Grossman's podcast. I heard him say something that I'm like, that's inconceivable. I'm a little sad this got spoiled. I can't even imagine what that looks like based on your description. So I'm very fucking excited to see what the hell that's like tomorrow. Because what he said makes you could never imagine that happening in a 2D platformer, let alone Mario. Yeah. Anyways, very excited.
Cool.
Bob.
Yeah.
What game are you going to drag us into now?
I played the beta for The Finals. This is the new game.
What?
The Finals. It's a new game made by former Battlefield devs. They a lot of people left there quite a while ago now. And they're putting together this free-to-play team 3v3v3 game about collecting money and depositing it at little banks around the map.
Is this an extraction shooter?
No, I don't believe so. It is a first-person
No.
shooter.
This is in the genre of will die on impact.
Yeah. It's a hyenas-like. But yeah, you collect monies from various parts of the map. It seems like there's one drop of money for every few minutes, and you bring it to a bank, and then you put it in the bank and defend the bank until the bank deposits the money into your account. It all has a very plain look to it, but has announcers you'd expect from a sporting event acting like something exciting is happening at all times.
So it's a Ubisoft conference?
It feels that way. It feels a lot like that Ubisoft shooter that died on impact. What was that called?
Hyperscape?
Hyperscape, yes. They advertised a bunch of destructible environments and stuff like that, and then it seems like some stuff breaks, but all your guns aren't good at it. So you have a few hand grenades and a machine gun, and I've seen some buildings break, but it by no means all of them. And I've thrown grenades at stuff I could have sworn would break, and it just didn't. So that's weird. The guns all feel like the game's made for PC only. So there's almost no auto target or no aim assist. Yeah, going on at all.
Oh.
And you don't have a tight feel to aiming in general. Using your as other weapons like a grenade, you don't have a button you can just hit to use them. You hold the L1 button, which brings up the weapon wheel for your gadgets, grenades, and jump pads and things. So you have to then select it with the weapon wheel. He pulls it out, and then you use it. And there's no quick swap back to your gun.
Was this beta only on PC?
No. I played this on PlayStation. This is the open beta.
Okay.
This is for everybody. I didn't get
wow, okay.
selected or anything. The game is basically it sounds like all the stuff is even transferred to the full game when that launches.
Dude, I looked over and you've been describing this. I assume this was just a PC game you hooked your controller into.
You would think. You really would. Enemy health bars are kind of insanely big. And then with just being incredibly hard to aim unless you're on PC, that just leads to gunfights that are like, man, what is happening? Where neither of us are dying as we shoot each other for half a minute.
Okay, so I've got something weird to tell you about this developer.
Yeah.
Because I thought I knew who this developer was. Embark.
Mm-hmm.
I'd seen their logo around. I follow one of the co-founders on Twitter. So there are 2 games they're making right now.
Okay.
This thing you've described as 3v3v3 free to play shooter, and called The Finals, as you see up here at the top of the screen, unless you're listening. And then this other game, Arc Raiders, okay, which is a free to play third person PvPvE extraction shooter.
Oh,
They're making both.
they're doing a dual prong failure.
Well, they're turning it around and then they're just inserting it into their abdomen.
Well, it's like multiplying negatives. If you multiply negatives, it becomes a positive. So
Both games are going to make $10 billion now.
And what I said makes more sense than any of the decision making of any executive.
Just ask anyone who pays attention to Jim Ryan's career.
Yeah.
We were having the conversation if we should blame Jim for something new.
All the censorship stuff that Sony got into in the last 2 years.
Yeah, we need to figure out the timing on that because I know that was around 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is literally when they relocated to LA.
Yeah, it's obviously something to do with the leadership change.
Yep. Just clearly insane.
So if this shit starts going away in the next 3 years, stop being like, Jim Ryan didn't do everything. It's like, or
maybe he did. Yeah, this game is really just depressing.
Because it's sad and moody, right?
No.
Oh.
Because that you can just see talented developers. Like, this game runs really well.
Oh, yeah. No, this is made by the people who made Frostbite.
Right.
The original people who made that engine came over and made this studio. I was really excited for the studio. I looked at the game running on your 1080 Ti, and it looks incredible.
That was the PS5.
But this was a PS5.
Yeah. But yeah, runs great. It even makes a smart decision of starting with motion blur off.
I mean, that's just the way they like it over there. It looks so sharp and incredible.
Yeah. And then
I like shooters.
Just playing it, you can just tell, like, this is doomed. This is more doomed than anything. Like, I if they launch it, I will be impressed. It also makes just baffling decisions. Like, have you ever played a shooter in the last, I don't even know when, ever, where it's like, here's your loadout, you get one gun?
Only if that gun's absolutely insane and my sidearm's a gimmick.
What if it's an AK, which nothing special about it?
No, I don't think I've ever seen a pre-made loadout in a shooter that's like, here's your singular AK and fuck you.
Yeah. Your AK, some grenades, a jump pad you can put down, and that's it. I'm like, what is this game? It also has grenades that cause they shoot out foam, and you can use the foam to climb around and stuff. But the trailers made it seem like it'd be a lot of foam, like it'd fill the whole room.
Mm-hmm.
In the game, it's like, oh yeah, put up like a knee-high wall.
Okay, guys, we gotta talk. If you have a fucking gimmick that changes the terrain, you are not allowed to do it slowly. We're banning that now. You're banned. We will find you. Squidward meme comes in. It goes right here. I can't express how frustrating that is.
Yeah, and that there was so much in pre-release stuff about this game being heavily emphasized on building stuff like that with foam and destroying environments. And I played the game, I'm like, that's not happening. What did you make? And I don't think they know. I think they just do something together.
Well, guys, that's a free-to-play beta up now on everything.
Yeah,
somewhere.
Yeah, I think it's up for a whole week. It's a crossplay too, so you can play with your friends on all the different consoles.
Oh man, it's crossplay. That means I'll be able to play it at all. Because if it wasn't, I bet there would be a huge problem with that.
It took me a minute and a half for it to find a game for the tutorial mission, which didn't have other players. So I don't know why I need to find a game for that.
Is it? Let me check. No, it's not 7th gen.
In the tutorial mission, all it was, hey, pick up this money. Put the money in the bank. The tutorial's over. I'm like, what?
You're literally describing a 7th gen game.
This is
Find a
sub brink.
Find a lobby. In order to do this, there is no one else here. Put it in the square hole. Good job. You're ready to play an online shooter. Yeah. Okay. Well then.
It's a shame. It's a shame so many of these games vanish forever. Like they don't even leave a corpse behind.
Yeah, it's true.
Because I think like the educational series, is it better than Brink, has real potential.
Yeah, they all die like frogs in Metal Gear Solid 4, where they just ignite.
Oh, they have the thing in their suit so they explode.
Yeah, they just go up in smoke, and you're just like, Jesus. Metal Gear Solid 4 is a pretty cool video game. I look forward to it being available on anything but a single platform. And I would love someone to make a chart of all the Metal Gears and what all they're available on. And then you watch as it dips down to one.
But that's all the games I played.
Okay, hey Chris, what you been playing?
So I played Kane and Lynch 2 Dog Days.
How was that?
That's sure a fucking game. I feel like I was lied to by the internet. Because I saw all these takes about how it's like a maximalist game. It's just assault on all your senses, and no, it's just a 7th-gen shooter with absolutely zero money.
Yeah.
Like, I'm talking, it doesn't have cutscenes money. I'm talking, they can't afford motion comics. Their cutscenes are dialogue over like a loading screen with like environmental art that it cycles through.
Oh.
There's like 3 cutscenes in the entire game.
Yeah, I knew that game was under budgeted because of the reception of the first, which made everyone question, why did you even make it?
So I'm now of the opinion that the creators made up a bunch of bullshit after the fact to justify anything they did, because they just had no money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also the thing you're talking about where it's like the online rep was maximalist, like assault on all the senses sort of thing. That was a part of their marketing. Their marketing was like, oh, it's gross and it's going to feel repugnant and the image is all messed up because it's a camcorder because this is found footage video game.
Yeah, the game isn't even like overly violent. There's like one part that's kind of overly violent, but like just shooting guys, it doesn't feel more graphic than any other 7th-gen shooter.
I've seen this comment multiple times from Podlord, so I'm going to throw it in here because why not? Apparently, the multiplayer is incredible, and I see someone else in chat agreeing with them. The single player is dog shit, but apparently the multiplayer was an incredible experience. Not that we'll ever know, right?
Yeah, that strikes me as unlikely, but we can never prove it true or false, so I guess I just have to let it stand.
You were saying something about bodies that ignite when they hit the ground dead.
So the plot of this game is very fucking simple. Like, there's no twists whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
It's Lynch comes to Hong Kong where Kane is, or not Hong Kong, Shanghai, where Kane is, to do an arms trading deal to make money.
Mm-hmm.
In the opening scene, they accidentally kill a mob boss's daughter, and then they have to kill everyone who ever lived. That's the plot of the game.
About right.
I fucking came in on you in an elevator covered in blood, and you're like, you're two white dudes in Hong Kong covered in blood with guns, and you just killed hundreds of Chinese people. You're not making it out of this building.
The only part that like stuck out to me is like, this is a thing that I'll remember at all, is there's a part where Lynch forces you to surrender because his girlfriend was taken hostage. And then it hard cuts to her being dead and you both being tortured. Because what the fuck else was going to happen? You surrendered to the mob boss who wants to kill you. Like, how did you think this would go? But the level where you escape you're both naked and covered in cuts. So you're doing like third-person shooter stealth and shooting naked.
Okay.
Entirely nude.
Okay. That's cool.
And like that, and that was it. And there was like there's like nothing else. All the guns feel bad. It's just undercooked in every conceivable way. Enemies are spongy. There's no set pieces because no money. It's 3 hours and 50 minutes long.
Kane Lynch 2 Dog Days is 3 hours and 50 minutes long. It comes on a disc you can put in your system, but nowadays you can download it. You play the game by hitting buttons and pushing sticks.
It's like the equivalent to the it's feature length. It's 70 minutes.
It's cinematic.
Yeah, that's really how it feels. Like, it's so sparse. I feel like people got sucked in. No, this thing must be total dog shit on every level as like a gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, they claimed it was a gimmick later when to not have to admit they shipped one of the worst things in 7th gen.
Yeah, I mean that's the winning play with the hand you're dealt when you shipped Kane Lynch 1 before that, and that becomes Jeff Gerstmann's moral grandstand.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that he was grandstanding when he did that. It's just that's what the moment was viewed as,
Right.
by everyone. So of course the sequel needs to just be the worst thing ever.
He gave that game a 7.
I know.
There's no way if I ever go back and play Kane Lynch, which I think has a PC version, I think that's the only reasonable way to play it nowadays. That I would be like, there's no way I wouldn't come out thinking he was fucking nice to this game.
Yeah, I also feel it's incredibly likely you would play it and just be like, you're kind, sir. But that's the thing. The narrative gets away from the reality.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't doubt that there are countless games we've played where we're just like, this was way worse.
Yeah, it's just there was the marketing deal, so it's like, no, it's got to be a 9.
I'm trying to think of a 7th gen game that's 4 hours long that is good, actually. Because the thing is, we kept saying Vanquish was, but then we played through that, and that is not 4 hours.
How long was Metal Gear Rising's really short?
It is really short.
It might be 4 to 5.
Yeah, if you've played it before, there's no doubt you're beating it in 4 hours. The first time playthrough, it's like
I
6.
think first time it's like 6.
Shit, we have a stream where we played it. You can go look up the VOD for that and figure out like how long it took us. And obviously, both of us have played Metal Gear Rising before.
Right.
And to be clear, that 3 hours and 50 minutes was me dying many, many times. There's long plays that are 2.5.
Yeah, of course. It's going to be a tough 7th gen shooter that's just not fair to try and make it longer.
Because that's the thing. It's like like we were talking about with I believe Castlevania Chronicles. It's not even that they did something intentionally mean, or Dracula XX. It's incompetence, like sheer incompetence that made it just dog shit. And that's what so many 7th gen games and shooters are that gen, where it's just like they are unaware that the line you have to cross with your player may not be something you do eventually left to your own devices, so they will spawn people forever.
Yeah, I don't have much else to say, but that like Kane and Lynch aren't characters. Like, they don't have personalities. There's not a villain. You meet the villain and he dies in the same cutscene.
Okay.
It's like, let's try to be a Tarantino movie. We have no money. Oh, the game's over.
We don't have writing. Jesus.
Yeah, there's like this is the first. I would compare it to Agents of Mayhem in terms of just being empty.
That's
like there's just being nothing in it. It's like, we got shooting to work. Thank God. We have to ship in 3 months. But I played one other thing, and this is the game that was the temporal AA making the hair look terrible, and I keep noticing. I started Jedi Survivor.
Yeah. Isn't that FSR 2? I can't remember.
I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I was more of asking Bob.
I think it is, but I don't know.
So you started playing Jedi Survivor. Cool. How's that going?
It seems neat. I like a lot. I like it wiped like a lot of the Soulsy grime that the first one had off it, so now it feels a lot more like a normal action game.
Cool. That's what I want to hear.
Right?
It's fun. It's fun to play a Star Wars thing that doesn't feel horrible like every Disney Star Wars thing kind of does.
Yeah, the first one and what I've seen is this one does make me think of the Lucas era of games and things where it just feels really situated in that and cool and wholesome. Even Tales from the Edge of the Galaxy or Galaxy's Edge doesn't quite hit that
has like that a little bit
of the Disney's here.
Like, hey, here's C-3PO. And that's not even the worst.
Yeah, that isn't the worst part of that, but I forgot that happened in that game because when I think back on my experience playing that game, it's me flash stepping behind people and beating them to death with a sledgehammer. Jedi's are so strong.
I'm not super far. I'm like 2 worlds in. I'm like near the end of the second world you go to after the intro. There's a really funny thing in the game because you can unlock different facial hairs for Cal lightsaber.
Yeah, they're all bad.
Yeah, and whenever you unlock one, because like when you get an item, it like pops up in the center of the screen, like you found this, and it's like an image on top of like a logo. Anyway, when you get new facial hair, which you find as an item, it pops the image in like because they don't just show like a disembodied beard or something. They show Cal lightsaber doing the inch stare at the screen with that facial hair.
Yes. I imagine the thing you're picking up is like a sticker, elaborate sticker printouts where you have to tear it around like a circle or something. It's that, and then he just puts it on his face.
It's really funny how he still looks 12 even with the beard, and they're really trying to sell him as like seasoned action man now. Also at the start of the game, you meet a bunch of characters who are helping Cal on this job in the intro mission. I'm like, wow, one of you sure has a higher fidelity model than all the others. I wonder which character will live through this opening mission.
So that's what that tweet was about.
It seems real good. It is funny to play it after Spider-Man 2 and be like, man, no game looks as good as a Sony game. Nothing. Nobody can even compete.
And that game looks really good. Did
Right?
you play it in fidelity mode?
No.
But it has the ray tracing.
I played both in performance mode. These should be equivalent things to compare, right?
Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't everyone be able to do ray tracing at 60 frames per second like Insomniac?
Man, we need to roll back visual fidelity. It's bullshit that you've lost the ability to cut tons of random shit in the environment with a lightsaber because of fidelity.
Oh, really?
Like, there's still some stuff, but there's a bunch of stuff that in games from even 1 gen ago, even the Force Unleashed, you would be able to cut shit, and you can't now because it's a PS5 Series X game.
Even like that was just basically making the game crash when you tried to do it.
That's 2 gen ago's grandpa.
Okay, yeah, I get it, but I'll acquiesce because we're finally at the part where shit is no longer coming out on
Right,
PS4.
We're 3 years into the PS5. It is so this gen. And I don't know how deep into the PS3 the Force Unleashed 1 came out. I assume 2010,
I think
2011.
it was 2 years. No, it was when I worked at Target, which I think I quit Target halfway through 2009. So it must have been late 2008.
Okay, wow, that's crazy. In my head, that was much later. Wow.
Yeah, I think that Unleashed 2 came out weirdly late.
It did.
It took way longer than it should have for a game that was half the length of the first.
Wow, that's crazy. I felt like I was watching trailers for Force Unleashed 1 forever. Did you know they invented tech for the Force Unleashed 1 that they did not deploy that is literally that frame generation bullshit they're sticking in NVIDIA GPUs right now? And they said, yeah, it looks bad. We're not going to do that.
wow, when the devs on a PS3 game go, this visual thing is terrible. Maybe take a step back.
Oh my god.
But hey, it was on paper 60 different frames they were delivering.
Well, you see, Dan.
Uh-huh.
That was before the entire industry wholly. Everybody's in this shitty position now where people are used to 60 frames a second, but games still need to look like they run at 30 frames a second. So we have to make up frames. They have to be lies.
We could just not do that. What if we had a good art style and we didn't let the engineers run and ruin all of the art design and decisions? That's an idea. Yeah.
I don't even think it's engineers. I feel like it's just suits were like, well, objectively, graphics can be good.
No. These motherfuckers are absolutely like, well, we have to have ray and we definitely, and it's fine. It's not. I had to listen to a motherfucker from NVIDIA say that the frame generation shit isn't fake frames. He's like, video games aren't real, so none of the frames are real.
What
frames?
The fuck?
I'm serious. This is in that long Digital Foundry interview about Cyberpunk and NVIDIA. Like the integration of the path tracing, and he says that, and no one just goes, "That's stupid. You're stupid." And
you should feel bad.
The way it occurs to me, the way just in that moment, I'm like, dude, all of those frames are based on real numbers being crunched. How would you like it if your paycheck was frame generated?
I've heard this rumor from a fairly credible source that I can't name, of course. There's like people in these high up in these companies are shitting their pants because it's like, we can't make games look any better, and we taught consumers to not care about art style over 15 years.
I mean, yeah.
How do we make them care again? Because that's what we're gonna have to switch to.
I mean, yeah. The movie industry largely avoided this back in the day by having iconic directors and things have tones and visuals that they fully delivered on, so you knew you would come out to see this sort of thing from person.
Mm-hmm.
And even to some extent, Marvel movies leaned a little bit on that with, people they fired halfway through these projects. So, it would have helped if the game industry didn't scorch every last one of those motherfuckers that ever existed. And then if they didn't do that, they're trapped in a 5-year fucking game development cycle. Like, let's talk about it. Name a director on The Last of Us Part 2 not named Neil Druckmann. I can.
Right, I can too, but that's because I follow him on Twitter.
Same.
I can't.
And he's probably wrapped up in another thing that's 5 years.
Yeah, who knows how long it'll take. I don't know if he's working on the rumored Mass Effect-like thing over at Naughty Dog or if he's working on something else. It's clear he wasn't working on the multiplayer thing, at least.
That's good.
That seems like not at all what he was working on. But yeah, so that means we lost all those people because fucking Amy Hennig's ? Like, she's working on the fucking... Oh my God, isn't she working on that terrible Marvel thing where it's like characters? It's like Black Panther
she is
and
on
whatever.
Black Panther and the who cares?
Yeah.
Guy with the robot arm.
Captain America?
The Winter Soldier.
Okay.
God, what a weird future when you're teamed up with Black Panther and you're the Who Cares.
I know. Right? That's what I was like, Jesus, that's like one of the lesser performing, well, when it came out, Marvel films. Like, it was not Avengers, but it was probably better than Thor 1. And then after, that all happens, then we get the shows and the movies no one actually cares about. So we have a new the Marvel film no one cared about.
Right.
Black Panther did okay.
I think she's also has another Star Wars thing.
Yeah, I feel like last we checked, Amy Hennig had 2 different things like that going on.
But yeah, we don't have those people in the industry. Kojima's off doing his own thing, but we didn't invent... Kojima's been Kojima since Metal Gear Solid 2. Mm-hmm. Easily, you could argue Metal Gear Solid 1. How many Kojimas did we get since then? Because look at Naughty Dog and how they churned through directors. Druckmann's the only one we left from Uncharted 1.
Yeah.
Because
Kurt
Marganow, by the way, is the guy we follow on Twitter. He rose up through the ranks and he's a director now. No one fucking knows who he is.
Yeah, and that was another thing that's been talked about a lot. I feel like specifically this year, everybody started talking about it. It's like, hey, assholes, you shouldn't have somebody who's really, you shouldn't keep forcing these teams that are good at making a type of game, making an entirely different type with no similarities whatsoever. You're just throwing away their knowledge for no reason.
Yeah. And it keeps happening. But yeah, I've seen the examples in chat. Like, yes, we do have Nomura and we have Sam Lake. If this was like Hollywood, you would have way more names in chat right now.
Well, 20 years ago you would.
If this was like Hollywood was, which is what my argument was a moment ago.
I think it's funny because the other ones I think of are like Shinji Mikami and Kamiya, and they both are just like, we just had to leave our
legally
companies.
We can't work.
We aren't allowed to do anything because we had to leave a company where we couldn't do anything. It's like, what happened?
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would have been great if we prioritized gameplay mechanics and director visions.
Or just art styles, just having art styles. Like, imagine if a game came out now that tried to look like El Shaddai.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. The problem is, like, scholastically, educationally, institutionally, we've been pushing nothing but realism in the West this whole fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
And worse yet, all of the gameplay design shit they're teaching at these colleges. You saw Tears of the Kingdom come out, and people who've been in the industry for like a few years, being like, this game literally flies in the face of every single fucking thing they taught me at college. I'm like, oh, good.
Yeah, because they teach you to make Uncharted 1.
No, now they teach you to make open world games. So they teach you the Destiny circle you highlight a thing with, and then you hold X for 3 seconds to select it.
And all the Ubisoft nonsense of here's your checklist, it's always on screen.
You have to teach the player this mechanic, so make sure they know it 3 times through bespoke segments that are that. So yeah, the industry actually is in, like, if this industry doesn't have something resembling a large crash in the next few years, I will genuinely be surprised. A large crash exclusive to Western AAA.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're already seeing it. So it'd be so weird if like we're seeing it with all these service games that are like the canary in the coal mine.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe Suicide Squad is a canary in the coal mine also.
It is, absolutely. When you were talking about teams changing what they're good at, I'm like, oh, hey, Gotham Knights. They sure made you make a different type of game instead of that normal single-player game people enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the interest rate that's still real high. So yeah, it seems like there's going to be like them. We're just going to wake up one day and it's going to be like, yeah, Ubisoft laid off 8,000 people.
Yeah, that's probably going to happen.
But we got off track from Star Wars. I don't have anything else.
Oh, okay. That's okay. We can get further off track. My copy of Twin Peaks seasons 1 through 3 came in.
Oh man, we can get ready to play Alan Wake 1.
And Deadly Premonition.
Yes.
I need to watch these 2 seasons, then watch Firewalk with Me, which I looked up on Amazon. People are like, don't worry, Dan, towards Black Friday, they put Firewalk with Me on a good sale. But yesterday I was like, how much is Firewalk with Me right now? And it's like $30+ on Blu-ray. And I'm like, fucking what? It's like, fuck you. What? And you have to see that before you watch the 3rd season, which is the newer series that aired a while ago on Showtime. Yeah, it's the Criterion version. That's why it's $30+.
Yeah, Criterion always
still
super
just like
expensive.
fucking holy shit, bro.
But like they're
Holy
saying,
shit.
Criterion stuff always goes on sale.
All right. So anyways, that's exciting. I'm going to put this next to my Columbo and Star Trek The Next Generation. You know, just showcase all this great peak media I have on this shelf. And then Chris goes, where's Deep Space Nine? And I'm like, in hell where it belongs.
Oh no.
You're disappointing Captain Sisko, Dan. You don't want to disappoint Captain Sisko. He's not like Picard. He'll just punch you in the face.
He will, yeah, absolutely. Oh, man.
Sisko finds out there's a threat to the Federation. Is like, how can we solve this with war crimes?
And get away with it.
And still be the hero.
How many? What's the quantity of episodes of Deep Space Nine versus the Next Generation? Because I need to know
I think they're
if
pretty similar.
can we do.
A Deep Space Nine versus Next Generation.
We watch one episode of each.
Oh my god!
We do this podcast for the next 30 years.
Right?
One episode of each. They're both 7 seasons. Oh, see, that's really funny because I'm going to be adamant as I'm trudging through the garbage that's season 1 of TNG. I'm like, it gets better after this. We all know that. I'm not losing.
Everything
even
loses.
I'm not owned.
Even season 2's pretty rough.
For like 3 episodes, it gets fine. It gets fine.
It looks like TNG has somewhere around like 3 more episodes than Deep Space Nine.
That's pretty close.
Yeah, that's really close.
It's really close. This podcast is sounding better all the time. Not quite as good as the podcast I started pitching 11 hours into our Castlevania stream, where I'm like, it's a fake comedy podcast where the host lets people call in and talk about how they're going to murder their boss. And then he just clearly doesn't buy it every time. He's like, nah, you're not going to kill him. You're a pussy. Get back to work. I told Bob, I was like, episode 6, someone calls in and he's like, yeah, how are you going to kill your boss? And he's like, actually, I'm not going to kill my boss. And he's like, then why are you calling into my show? And he's like, well, I'm a big fan. See, my employee called you in episode 2 and I got to kill them legally out of self-defense.
Man, when they bring Whitest Kids You Know back, you really need to sign on as a writer.
There's an episode where someone calls in and they're like, I'm self-employed. And he's like, oh, so you're going to kill yourself. And then you hear the audio engineer like, we can't keep doing this episode. He's like, you won't do it. Do it. Do it right now. The audio engineer's like, dude, we're going to get in serious trouble. So then the next episode, they're like, the authorities have told us our show is a bad influence and an incitement to violence. I don't agree with them, but we will pivot our content for the meantime. Welcome to Ass Talk, where we talk about pretty good asses. Because this man only loves 2 things. Violence that he doesn't want to be legally tied to. Anyway.
I feel like there's some right-wing podcaster that already does this exact show.
Jesus. Probably. I'm like crafting this character and people are going to be like, that's a brilliant satire of Citizen Kane. You know how Citizen Kane is like real person.
Uh-huh.
They're going to be like, this is a Citizen Kane of that guy. And I'm like, who? What the fuck? Anyway, we really got off on a tangent that time, but let me tell you that TNG Deep Space Nine podcast is a really good idea in a frictionless vacuum with infinite time.
Right.
That's a fucking peak podcast idea. And so is that other one. Did you play anything else, Chris?
No.
Okay, hey, Aggro, did you play anything?
Not that we haven't already discussed.
Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. Do you know what that means? That means it's time for... the Pod Lords!
Oh, fuck.
They're spooky now.
It gets better the more I look at it.
Yes, that's right. The spooky Podlords. Podlords such as BN12, Ely Broyles. Bountiful blessings to you all.
Truly horrifying.
Red Blaze 27. I go sneaking like I'm Jin. Everybody find your plan, yeah?
Ow.
This requires so much fucking prior knowledge.
Yeah, I'm just lost.
I feel like we're approaching like AI generated Podlords where it's just a composite of things.
This is how you end up with like incantations from dead languages that only harm this one eldritch deity.
I think Undertale is pretty good.
Oh.
101 Shades of Wonderful Remastered. WTF, Spider-Man. Mr. I Like Spam.
I've been busy the entire past week, so I don't have anything special planned. So I'll just wish you all a spooktacular Halloween.
Classic.
DFW 3K. Come on, do the funniest thing possible. Doge. Kristen. Juice of Frost forgot to change his Patreon name. Again.
Uh-oh.
Kyle Bjork. It's not Schrodinger's cat. It's just Charlie. Happy Halloween. Watch 1987's The Monster Squad or Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost.
Nice.
Cooper Tank. I have joined your Patreon, human.
Oh my god, no. Come on.
I refuse to be king-shamed for liking edgy goth women when the rest of y'all are thirsting for the sadistic alien frog and the
Who's y'all?
I'm y'all. I'm afraid to admit it.
Indigo Sykes. I think something's wrong with my install of Undertale. It just says determination when I save. Evil Lucario. Saber. But a raccoon?
What?
Oh no.
Holy shit. I'd watch that.
Shinji16 wants to remind you that you matter, you are valid, and you deserve to be happy. Apple Gothic thinks Reaper Bird is very cute and will accept no other opinions. Bob, how do you feel about Reaper Bird?
I don't know.
I mean, I wouldn't speak ill of it.
I would also not speak ill of it. The Super Mim. Pray for them. They were forced to say thank you after receiving one mini package of candy corn.
Oh my god. Those are the other two costumes. So Dan is Shusuke Amagai and you're Tracy Sketchin.
Oh no.
It's fantastic.
God.
The first thing I noticed in this image was, oh my god, I have a tuning fork.
You sure do.
See, I like how, like, if Bob just changed his shirt, he would no longer be Tracy Sketchin, would instead be Domon Gashu. Right?
Yes, it's true. It's a flexible cosplay. Sarlene, Timothy Fester, Bearded Joe, Pleogrome, Krunglespum, Musashi, but smug. Must tell GigaBoots, Toriel's my mom.
It's a lot.
And when Rukia's not on screen, everybody should ask, where's Rukia? Bleach fade to black writer's room.
I mean, that's true.
What kind of idiot would make a robot you can't fuck?
Yep. That's sure from a 9-year-old comic.
Oh no.
Noodle leaves his last week as Podlord for a bit with an attempted meme. Good luck, Podlord.
Good luck.
Meet Gina, another great oomphy of undead unluck. Scared to call that person my oomphy.
I still don't know what that word means.
It's a more feminine coded version of Scrimblow.
Pograna plant!
Oh my god.
Oh.
I like that more
luscious
than the
curves.
snake, honestly.
Evil Saber, but a maid mafia boss.
Damn.
It's a lot of things.
You know, when you have to produce like 18 different versions of the same concept, you start to run out.
No, that's when it gets good.
Maybe it's like a great pun with the whole maid thing.
Right?
Dan while selling me the LG G2 OLED and a PSVR 2. I'm here to choose war today. Reese's Pieces or peanut butter M&Ms?
Peanut butter M&Ms.
Peanut butter M&Ms.
I haven't had peanut butter M&Ms in so long, but I think probably.
I think Mexican gets you just the right ratio.
I mean, that's true, but don't both sides this argument.
I mean, I'd put them both in a bowl and add Skittles, so you might not want to come to me for candy advice.
I don't think I've had.
What the fuck? You went to the door on Halloween, just hold the bowl out to a kid, like, take it. Do it.
Look, when I eat candy, the question is, what does it taste like? And the answer is yes.
Thank you very much to our spooky podlords. Thank you, spooky podlords.
Like a pod lord, they're spooky.
Thank you, Spooky
Boo,
Podlord. And if you'd like to become a Podlord, you can go to our Patreon at patreon.com/gbpodcast. For as little as $5 a month, you get access to many benefits, such as early access to Chugging, Bleach, and Pokemon Go to the Movies, our 2 monthly anime review podcasts, only one of which will last until the heat death of the universe. You also get various other benefits, cut content, extended cuts, such things indeed when they exist. You also get a movie called Isolation 119. This isn't a joke or a bit. You get a movie. You can only get it through this Patreon called Isolation 119, a stellar film about a man trying to get a tax write-off. That's patreon.com/GDPodcast. You also get exclusive content every other month and fun to public content every month where we review either a bad or good movie and have to talk about it. And if you're a patron, you get an exclusive commentary track for the bad movies. That's patreon.com/GBpodcast. And if you don't have any money, you can always spread the word, tell your friends, rate us on Thursdays, rate us with a T on your podcast app of choice, or leave a like and a comment on YouTube right now. That's, Patreon. I already said it 4 times. Patreon.com/GBpodcast. Thank you.
No, say it even more. Dan will be back in just a second. So let's talk about other things that gets us, like extras for things like
Gamer Premonitions. Armchair Devs, I think there's extras sometimes.
Yeah, there's some old extras for that. You can definitely look those up.
There's somewhere in the ballpark of 80 commentary tracks from such films as Wolverine, X-Men Origins Wolverine, Dr. Horrible Sing-Along Blog, The Golden Compass.
I like how those two will always work their way in.
The Golden Compass was an experience, everyone.
It really was. Children's movie, sure. Children's movie about circumcision.
Warriors of Virtue.
Ooh, that was a good one.
No, it wasn't.
It was maybe a good commentary.
That movie fucking rules.
That movie is bizarre because you can really tell it was made by an action movie director.
Yes.
And it's worth it for that alone to be like, oh, this is just like Freddy versus Jason for one moment.
It's patreon.com/GP. I actually don't know what news we should start with. I guess I'll knock my news out. I guess people will be okay with that. Oh, wait, I have to change our current topic to just be the word news, all caps. There we go. Perfect. Oh, Chris, you're so great. There we go. City Skylines 2 came out and runs like trash. Absolute trash on every scale of device you can imagine. I've been reading around, and people have discovered seemingly why that is. It's running on Unity. It's using the bespoke, strapped on ad hoc, higher fidelity rendering mode in Unity, which is retrofit apparently into the older engine's hooks and things. And on top of that, it has a number of mistakes made in it that we're not sure. Is it that mode's fault? Is it developers didn't optimize at all? This is how bad it is. City Skylines 2 is like City Skylines 1, a city simulator like Sim City.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Bob, it is rendering everything on the pedestrians down to the teeth.
What?
The pedestrians do not have LOD models. What? It is rendering everything down to the teeth.
How did they launch this? How did they think any part of this was a good idea?
I don't know at all. This is exactly why you delay a game. On top of that, there are a number of other problems with it that are causing performance issues. People have been looking at it through the, I believe it's called Insight. It's a API tool to sort of like inject and examine what's going on your GPU. But some of the other problems with it is like, it doesn't have optimizations for shadow rendering. So it's rendering shadow stuff that you can't even see. Like it's not culling what you don't see well enough. So it's just tanking your performance as it does that. There's a weird tidbit where somebody was like, and it's generating a texture at the end of the render cycle that adds, right. Like, so think about this real quick. The last step of the render cycle is it generating a texture. So you're waiting 2 to more milliseconds while it just generates the texture for use later. It's like, then why didn't you draw the goddamn frame to the screen and then do that? There are a number, yeah. So it's insane and it doesn't run right at all. Skylines 2 just does not run well on anything. We're talking people with 4090s trying to run it at appropriate resolutions for a 4090 and it just tanks like 10 frames per second, 20. Like it's really low numbers all across the board. So we were saying something earlier about stop trying to push visuals.
Yeah.
This sounds like it was less like that and more just we fucking didn't care.
I mean, they used the fancier Unity rendering pipeline this time, which may be a fundamental part of why this didn't work. That thing is not, as people have said online, game devs have said online, that thing is not designed for interactive frame rates of like 60, right? That thing is, you're praying for 30. That thing is like architecture people and like cinematic people should be using that mode.
Yeah, why would they? What? I don't understand what would even cause them to think to do this.
Because they needed their game to look fancy.
Yeah.
I've seen a number of people like, you want to use that mode? Go change to Unreal Engine. Because this shit doesn't run here. And if you want these features, go over there. There are lots of details specific to that mode of how insane giant swaths of data are generated and then need to be parsed and perused in order to use that mode at all. So all sorts of camera data, lighting data, everything. Just to engage that mode, you need to just generate this insane amount of data, which makes sense, but it just tanks performance. So, yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So that's why that's happening. It is a breaking story, and I'm sure developing over time. I hope to hear more things about it. Hey, Bob.
Hey, what's up?
We're going to go to you for news. Do you have any engine-related news that we could jump into from here?
Sure. Capcom put up a bunch of developer-style videos on YouTube about the RE engine and what's happening. And I guess the next version is going to be called the REX engine. And you can go watch these videos and learn a bunch about what they intend to do with this thing and how they want to expand it out and whatnot.
My favorite part of this, and this hit the Discord fast. Like, they put up tons of different videos on it. I think it was like 20 or something. It's an insane swath of videos. And I'm like, I would have appreciated any time to be able to watch this before Pick Think.
Yeah.
So I could communicate more meaningful things. But they have a document that's about their ray tracing efforts in like 2020 or Resident Evil 8 time period, which is 2020. And they're like, we literally didn't have a denoiser. And I'm like, I hope everyone enjoys going back and watching the Pragmata trailer. Because that's literally the first thing out of my mouth is, yeah, that, why do they not have, did the denoiser break for this render? Why would you? Because if you're ray tracing, you need a denoiser. That's just how that works. You can't trace a ray for every pixel on the screen. So you see the thing like melting and fluctuating in a weird way. So it was really cool for them to be like, yeah, that didn't exist. Anyways, this is how it works now. So Rex, RE Engine X,
Yeah.
Rex is really interesting. And putting out this much information about their engine hyper publicly in an extremely detailed manner, like it's a game developers conference thing, in the way they're doing it, makes me wonder, is this general altruism for people who are pushing the cutting edge relatively? Keep in mind, unlike other companies' engines, the Capcom wants to ship a game that runs well.
Yeah, that they're like, and what I watched the videos was able to, even there it's like, yeah, no, we push high-end graphics while maintaining high frame rates.
Right.
That's important.
It is important. You have to wonder if this is general altruism for people pushing cutting-edge features, pushing their engines further, or if this is a larger, like, are they going to license this? Is that... Because this is a ton of information. This isn't one GDC talk.
Right.
This is like 10 GDC talks easily.
Yeah, it's a ton of
there's a lot.
information. They did, in the other parts I watched, it sounded like it was oriented towards overseas partners that they were using or giving this engine to work with for their games, like all the outsourcing they do in general. Mm-hmm. So it could just be that, because there's apparently a lot of other, like we've already known about a bunch of the stuff where RE3 was made by them and this external dev.
NM2, yeah.
Yeah. So I have to wonder if they're just getting more and more into that and be like, no, every single person working with this is using this. Mm-hmm. Or if it is like you're saying, of
but
possibly.
That seems really weird to me, because one, when that happens, you generally don't post it to YouTube.
I know, right? That is weird.
Two, that is a video frozen in time. Its information will be locked to this moment with this engine.
Yes.
Which is a problem. Fucking going forward, you will have to be like, this changed. So, in my opinion, the dream scenario, because I can't remember if it was you or Chris or just all of us being like, at the same time, like, are they going to license this fucking thing? Like, that would be great.
Or the truly insane, are they going to make this open source?
No, there's no. You don't spend that much money on developing your cutting edge engine and then make it open source. I don't even know if Japanese companies, by and large, are huge into open source.
Right.
You know who's into open source? Neon Falcon, when they used the Fire Engine for 36
Yeah, I was thinking it was the Fire Engine.
But they didn't even do that. They just took that and went, thank you.
Right.
This is ours now. But yeah, Chris, before we were live, you were talking about, if all of Japan just started using the Rex engine.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That would sure be insane. Great.
You know, I've seen like an uptick, and it's all from people who are like 21 or 22, people who don't remember. Like, man, the Unreal Engine has so much soul. Why doesn't everybody try to make their own engines anymore? It's like, because most of them died trying, or almost died trying.
I mean, honestly, I see it from more people like our age, which is because I follow Digital Foundry.
Why don't more people die?
I understand how boring it is to see every game and they all look similar. Mm-hmm. At the same time, Unreal Engine 5 looks so good, it's not a major problem to me that a bunch of games are using Unreal Engine 5. I care much more that these developers get to have an art workflow and everything that is experienced up front.
Right. And then they can make their own stylistic decisions with the game and make it look unique. Or not.
Or just ship a fucking game that's not broken as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, you literally only ship those when you're pushing the absolute cutting edge.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the thing is that, like, yeah, Unreal games can look similar, but they can also look very different. It's on the developer end. Like, Guilty Gear Strive is an Unreal Engine game.
Yeah, but that's like, you literally mentioned the game where it's like, I would simply animate the 3D characters like they're 2D per frame. That's not...
But you can make it look not like what people can... Devs just go with the default because it's easier in a lot of these cases. And they don't have a vision for making it look different.
Okay, this is relevant yet again. So there's a skit on Mitchell and Weblook where a fake Gordon Ramsay comes in and saves a restaurant, and the guy who's running the restaurant's like, my restaurant's fucking doomed. I can't cook any of the shit you put on the menu. Why are you acting like you saved me? Because, most devs can't do an ArcSys thing. Most devs leave things as they are because they aren't engine people, right? Do you fucking think most game developers have any remote fucking Toby Fox shipped fucking Undertale at 30 frames per second. Do you think your average game dev has any idea what a motion, like a shutter angle looks like? So a lot of this shit's left on default because they don't have opinions on it. They don't have an opinion on the default motion blur or the default temporal AA or anything.
But like when Pseudo Regalia can get slammed out in like 4 months, it's hard for me to beat on Unreal Engine too much.
Oh yeah, I agree.
And I saw people be bemoaning that CD Projekt Red was moving towards Unreal, and I'm like, do you remember how Cyberpunk came out? Like, I get that's 3 years ago. Is your memory that short that you've already completely deleted it the way it launched from your mind?
Yeah,
because that was from them having to make every single aspect of that game from the ground up.
Here's the problem, though. I could agree with those people if, Cyberpunk wasn't the way it was, and still is to some extent. But at some scale of development, I feel like no matter what engine that was on, it would have been an absolute tire fire of a show as they try to simulate too many things in a way that they've never done before at a scale that last-gen consoles weren't remotely prepared for. I don't know that any amount of their engine being able to do it would solve it. Because the number one reason why, and this is why I thought it was so weird that Digital Foundry was like, I wish more people had their own custom engine. Like, going forward, the problems you need to solve, the optimizations you have to make are more and more like getting blood from a stone. You now have 100 people trying to solve problems in an engine nowadays, at minimum. Like, there are thousands of people working for years to solve a problem. I know someone at Unity who's working on something important, or at least was last time I, touched bases with them. And they're like, hopefully a few years from now when this is done, people will see the importance and appreciate what I'm working on. That's the scale at which engines are done nowadays. So it's like, yeah, your game dev can't do that.
Right.
We're at the point the conversation isn't even your game dev can't do that. Your publisher cannot afford that. EA can't afford that.
Right, for it to be cutting edge. Yeah, absolutely.
We see what happens at these other companies, even when they try to have their own engine a lot of the times. Like, so many projects at EA have suffered because use Frostbite.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, we'd see it all the time.
But that's the thing, though. We're talking about like games that would need something to do something fancy, right? If you're not talking about that, Godot's right over there. You can fucking strap your own shit on top of it. Unity's over there. Just don't make a fancy game. Like, Pseudo Regalia is a different conversation from CD Projekt Red. These are two entirely different, of course they should use Unreal. Because CD Projekt Red has their own engine at any point in time. Right?
Right.
They're doing a different scale of game. And I don't know that there's any engine where Cyberpunk would have shipped right. That seems impossible.
I mean, CD Projekt Red did not have an engine. They don't have an engine. Every time they made a game, they started from ground zero, according to them. That's what they claimed. I'm sure to some extent that isn't true, but that's what they said.
Yeah, the farther we go with the Project Red stuff, it's like this engine seems to exist to show off new NVIDIA features that make the game run worse.
I think that was a specific mutation that happened with Cyberpunk, but it is absolute. Bob, you can't say it runs worse because it has frame generation.
Thank God.
It has more frames. That's running better.
Uh-huh.
I still love that it's like, back in the day, if we had artifacts pop up on half of the render frames on a GPU, that's not a feature. Your GPU's dying.
Yeah, at the end of the day, these big proprietary engines are going to have to exist at the top level of game development because it's not feasible to do anything else, really. Be it something like Capcom's where this is the engine for our company, or if it's something a third party like Unreal, it's going to happen because it's you're playing Russian roulette to do otherwise. We just saw Volition get shut down because they were trying to do that with Saints Row and couldn't.
Yeah.
And that game wasn't even that game wasn't even fancy or complicated in any way.
Right.
It was like middle of the road modern game.
They basically made their own Unity's HDRP mode. The conversation is complicated. I sympathize and understand where people are coming from, where they want more engines out there.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, I personally just would rather better games, and what I'm seeing out of Unreal is better games. The problem is, the more we lean into that, the more we get a monopolistic or oligopolist situation, like Unity trying to do their install fees and shit like that. And now that money is real, it's only a matter of time with Epic.
Yeah.
They don't have Fortnite money now because that is on the downside. That is why all of this shit's happening.
Mm-hmm.
So more engines equal better. I like the idea of Rex Engine being licensable. That would be cool. I think it's weird that they put up the YouTube videos that they did publicly if it's for the support overseas.
I have to wonder if it's literally like they put these up publicly on accident.
That might be the case.
Right.
And if they disappear, I'm going to cry because I want to go watch all of them.
Right.
But yeah, it's really quite something. I'm excited for where Godot engine goes eventually. Because we need more engines.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not even we need more engines at the top of the line scale. We just need more engines. Period. There's always the argument for a game maker versus a Godot versus a Unity versus an Unreal. So another engine out here would be nice just to give more people more options for whatever scale of game they're trying to make.
Another thing about those videos is I think these are the first videos that channel called Capcom R&D has put up that had English versions.
Yeah, that's what people were saying.
Which is a weird thing to do if your plan is not to, on some level, go, yeah, we're going to let you license this engine out if you want.
Yeah, I guess the reason its presence is becoming known is because these are the first English videos.
Right.
Which that implies there were videos in Japanese before for their own internal employees.
There wasn't nearly as many, like 50 videos got put up on this channel in the past day. And before that, it was like 6 a year.
Yeah, that sounds about
crazy.
Right. But at least that shows you that at their level, they rationalized it as this is an internal tool and resource.
Uh-huh.
And it's only now that it's in English, everyone just cocked their head to the side and went, wait, what? Does this mean something? And they're like, it means we have videos for our employees to reference. I see the joke in chat of clearly John Blow's engine will save us all. He's not making an engine. He's making a programming language that is far more insane. Thank you. What were you going to say, Chris?
It'd be so cool if like a year from now, we're just like, man, Mikami and Kamiya sure have Capcom studios now using this engine.
Yeah, that'd be great. That's the best future. But yeah. Anyways, this is all cool information. You can go find that. You can go watch that. It might mean something to you. Who knows? Watch it and find out.
I flipped through like the overview and I thought it was interesting. Like it doesn't go deep into any of the features, but I'm like, oh, that's neat.
Yeah, it's fun to think about. Yeah, this thing is the engine they've been using since Onimusha 3.
Right.
That's always just fun to see an evolution of something over that long.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, during 7th gen, with the frame rates we had, I was not a fan of the motion blur on NT framework at the time, or MT framework, because it stands for Mega Man Trigger, allegedly, and that makes me... Anyway, I was not a fan of how that looked. At higher frame rates, it's better. Unreal Engine's modern solutions for that thing don't rub me the wrong way, though. Like, I know some people out there are like, I heard that every game looks the same, but like, I think the Unreal Engine, the defaults look fine. I don't know. Bob, you got some other news?
I got some other news.
Just a couple of things.
Let's see here. Batman Arkham Knight. Just at random. Updated with the Robert Pattinson Batman suit for the Epic Game Store. They then unupdated it, disappeared, and though no PR or anything acknowledges it had happened. So I guess they're working on something for Batman Arkham Knight, and we don't know yet.
I assume they're working on they have that Switch version coming out later this year.
Mhm.
I assume they're working on either a next gen update or a next gen version because they need something to soak the fucking losses Suicide Squad they're gonna have to put down for Suicide Squad.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no way that they aren't doing that.
I will be minorly, not significantly, but minorly surprised if that game comes out. Like, it's so rare to be like, oh, people saw it and told us to go away. We'll see you in a year. Maybe when we show it again, response will be a little bit better.
That game's going to come out, and it's going to be a more polished, better version of Gotham Knights emotionally, where you're just playing it the whole time, and you go, oh, man, I can see the Hydra that used to have 3 heads.
It's so much of it is focused on guns, though, so will it be like Gotham Knights? Will it feel that way, or will it feel like some bizarre, hollow shooter that had all the game service shit ripped out?
It'll feel like exactly what you just described. I'm just saying emotionally, when you play Gotham Knights, you get to experience the moment that is, this was going to be a Destiny-like moment, and all of this shit was supposed to last forever, and they made these 4 characters, and I don't know why they did that. Look at all the shit that shouldn't have been here, and you can see where the transactions were ripped out. And then in this, you're going to have that same experience of like, oh boy, this is so not what it was intended to be, which was a bad idea to begin with, and now it's some weird gray mass.
Yep.
Man, it's so cool that they didn't get to make a Superman game because executives wanted this fucking thing.
Yeah, we'll get it out while the Suicide Squad new movie is out, and everyone will be excited. It's like, no one was even excited for the movie. The movie came out 3 years ago.
Technically twice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Man, I'd actually be real excited for a next gen version of Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
That just looks better and has a couple new costumes.
Runs at 60.
Yeah, I sure would like I would sure like that game to run right, but I own the PC first.
Thanks, Dave Lang.
Yes. It would also be nice to see like a proper port of the other 2 games, the Arkham City and Arkham Asylum.
Are those fucked up?
Digital Foundry said that they should be like a 30, so then they did a patch that made them like a 30.
Fuck.
Also, the lighting was always screwed up in those versions.
Yeah, because they changed from Unreal Engine 3 to Unreal Engine 4, so if you see the visual comparisons, it clearly just looks better on Unreal Engine 3, because they did not give a fuck when they brought it over.
Yeah, everything went to default.
Yeah, it broke it at the hinges, and no one reset every hinge, because that would be expensive and take a really long time, so they went, whatever, fuck you.
In which, maybe you should do it because it's Batman and it was the best-selling Batman games ever made. Maybe you should do it. You could probably sell it for $60 again.
Executives, you could hire us as consultants. You come to me, you're like, hey, we got a game named The Finals. And I'm like, no, you don't. You're going to have a corpse on your hand named The Finals if you ship it with that name.
Like, Dan, what should we do? Fire Jim Ryan. We already did. My work here is done.
But you didn't do anything, didn't I? And then he teleports out with the Star Trek effect.
And then the executive, looking off in the distance, just nods and does the Jeremiah Johnson thing.
It's like, Dan Video Games, who should be the head of Sony? And Dan just says, hold on a second. He walks out, comes back in with Mark Cerny over his shoulder and puts him in the chair and then leaves.
I've got a few other updates about games that have not updated in a long time.
Okay.
So Heroes of the Storm.
What? I did not look.
After an entire year,
Is this
the last update happened, the last patch happened July 12th, 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said they were like sunsetting major support for this game a while back.
Right. And that
sucked.
Right. So then last month they just do a bug fix patch. It's like, yeah, whatever. That's a bug fix.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Like that doesn't mean anything.
You got to keep track of that. People are still spending money on the game.
This month they did balance adjustments and opened the public test realm again to do that. Like the new version is up on there because they did a lot of balance changes.
Right.
They have So yeah, I don't know what's happening, but maybe something.
That would be nice. I really enjoy Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah,
Are we Are we gonna get that thing we joked about a while back, where it's like now that we don't have money to make new service games anymore, we have to keep trying to make one of the ones we already made work.
Right? It does feel like that exact thing Chris said last week.
I mean, if we just keep putting them out, they have to play one of them.
They're porting Heroes of the Storm to Xbox.
That would
Sony's
be
in shambles.
Oh, you know what? I bet that's actually happening.
that'd be so funny. I don't like that
This
game
is
ain't made for
this
controllers.
is their Pokemon Unite.
I mean, remember, Riot is still supposed to be working on that console version of League of Legends, Wild Rift. Which
yeah,
I think came out on phones.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
came
it's
out
out
on
on
phones, like
phone,
over
but-
a year or something.
And
ago.
I'm just getting annoyed.
Right? Yeah, I have to wonder if they are even trying to do console with that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't officially announce they aren't. They did. Someone should have told me by now because I'm waiting.
So yeah, that's interesting. I'm excited to see what might have with this because it's the only like MOBA I kind of liked.
This is going to be one of the top 3 Xbox games next year. Just you wait.
Yeah.
You get Game Pass. Imagine how much of the roster you get with Game Pass.
Yeah, I have to imagine they would just let you. They would move to a fully. I think they already moved to a cosmetic system for the free stuff or for the pay for stuff, and you got access to everyone, but maybe not. Maybe that
No,
totally
you
didn't
still
happen.
have to. You still have to unlock them through playing.
Oh right, you have.
but
the
it's a
credits for-
reasonable
right,
amount of playing, not a completely deranged thing like some games.
right. And it's not gotcha.
Yeah.
Another thing happening. They got feedback from the Granblue Fantasy versus Rising beta. So they're doing a bunch of balance updates before the next beta. One of the biggest things being technical inputs now have a 10% bonus to damage because they were cowards.
Because so many people who aren't even going to buy this game bitched.
Yeah.
It really annoys me how much people in the FGC gassed up Rising Thunder back when that was a thing. And then this game is like, we're going to do the same thing, and like got reamed because they didn't kneel at the altar of the quarter circle.
Mm-hmm. And I've already seen people complain both ways of like, this isn't enough of a buff for this extra inputs. Like, what do you want? I honestly just think they should take the inputs out. If that's what, if it's going to break people's brains like this, take out the technical inputs.
I mean,
Just pull them out.
yeah, just make it Smash.
Yeah.
Fuck it. They're already going to fucking be bitter about this, that them doing a movement didn't make them better. And now they're bitter that it's not more than 10% more damage.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah. So that's happening.
Cool. Yeah, cool.
Significantly less excited for the game, honestly.
Really?
Yes.
I just want a version of the game where it doesn't take forever to load in between the battles and it's a single fucking player.
Fair.
That's all I fucking wanted.
Euphoria 2, the Saga 2 is announced.
The Saga.
This is a new Sunsoft game. It's got a really great art style.
It does.
It plays this weird little duck thing, beanie on, or I don't know what kind of bird.
I'm like, I think it's a duck, but I mean, you play as multiple characters.
Okay.
Yeah. You're not familiar with Euphoria?
No,
it's an NES game from
It's a fake
Sunsoft.
video game. Yes, it's one of those games that they ship 2 copies of, and like, this is a lost classic. It's like, no, you hid it. It wasn't lost. It was never meant to be found.
What? No, Sunsoft they made those games with the super chips on them, and America couldn't have the super chips. They're not allowed. If we got the super chips, we'd use them to pilot missiles.
You're right. You're right.
The PS2 taught us this.
I don't have anything else to say about it. Do you?
It's a classic NES game, and I've always wanted to play it. I believe the other name for it is Hebereke. I know nothing about it, other than it looks really good. It's got great music. In Japan, it's Hebereke, I think, and then in Europe, it was U spelled U, 4 as in written out the number 4, and then IA.
Boo.
Euphoria. Well, it's like UFO.
That's what they're going with.
Euphoria, yeah.
I've looked at his name 100 times. I've never saw that once.
You didn't.
It's a failure.
Oh, that's because you focused on the duck. You should have been looking at the whole cast. You'd be like, look at these fucking aliens. These fucking cryptids.
I think it's because there's 4 of them.
I mean, yes, that's why 4 is in the title as well. Yes. Look, important thing, it's like gimmick adjacent, so I must respect it.
Right. They should be labeled gimmick.
Gimmick Gaiden!
Or in the universe of gimmick.
Oh my God. It actually does have a little bit of that gimmick sound. I don't think it uses the exact same chip, but it might. But yeah, so I was shocked by how good it looked. It literally looked like that Yoshi's Crafted World game on the Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. I didn't think that Sunsoft of all people would pull that off.
Mm-hmm. Now.
Right?
'Cause, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Another small thing. RoboCop Rogue City canceled the Switch version because... Have you seen that game?
Yeah,
Have
no
you
shit.
Like, I didn't know this was announced for the Switch.
Yeah, apparently when they first announced the game, they're like, yeah, it's on the Switch.
Fuck you. I'm looking at your game. No, it isn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Consultants! I can save you so much time. So we're releasing this on these platforms. No, you aren't.
I wonder if they'll announce the Switch 2 version as soon as that gets announced.
I am sure they will.
We also got gameplay for Arkham Knight's Endfield.
Bob, what is Arkham Knight's Endfield?
It seems to be a free-to-play game based in the Arkham Knight's universe, but it's them making a Xenoblade-style game with Genshin-like exploration. It looks neat.
Guys.
It's really pretty.
Guys, go watch that gameplay trailer. Go watch the new trailer. It's got Mio from Xenoblade in it. It is blatant.
It also has, like, building mechanics. Like, they're showing you build up a small town. You can even, like, you know, in Death Stranding, you build those latches so you can then, like, swoop between areas, like zip lines.
Yeah, you build the zip lines, yeah.
Yeah, you can do that in this, which is so strange.
That's sick. I don't know why I would do that in this. You seem to move at a reasonable pace. So, Bob, is this in the Gimmick universe?
I don't know. Sunsoft? Let me know.
Do you own this? I own this. Before we move on, because I've said it now on a recording, and it would help if I could just show, because it should have been in the thumbnail, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it could still make its way into the thumbnail. I feel like between the tech of how this looks, like visually, and everything else, this is hitting really close to Mio vibes-wise. That just made me from a different room go, is that a Xenoblade? What the fuck are you looking? That looks way too good. What the hell is going on? But no, it's the Arc. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, I don't know. That's they're gonna trick me into playing this fucking gotcha. That's unfortunate.
Right.
That is really unfortunate. What else you got, Bob?
That is everything I've got.
Oh, okay. We're moving on to Chris.
Okay, I don't have very much. Squadron 42, the Star Citizen AAA game announced 11 years ago, is, according to them, lying. Feature complete.
Meaning they're not going to add any more features. I believe it.
Yeah, they'll stop adding features to this game that does nothing but add features and reinvent the engine, right?
No, because this is a different game from Star Citizen. A thing I cannot stress enough, that in the development of Star Citizen, they had the notion to ship a AAA single-player game that is a separate game from Star Citizen called Squadron 42.
Incredible.
I had to go through this moment years ago now when they started like behind the scenesing with I think Clancy Brown and some other people. Where it's like, this is us working on the game. And I'm like, how's that going to fit in Star Citizen? Oh, it's a different game. It's in the Star Citizen universe. I'm like, what? So I think, and I know nothing about the corporate structure here, this is speculation based on patterns, not any actual allegations.
Okay.
There's got to be some shell company game here going on, so that way they can ship the single player game, and then the cost of this doesn't affect that, or the money's funneled one way versus another. It's fucking insane.
Yeah.
What is Star Citizen then if this is just trying to be Wing Commander? What was that about?
I don't know.
Does anyone even know how long they've been making Star Citizen at this point? I've lost track.
Chris said 11 years.
It's been since Kickstarter was hype.
Yeah. Well, the thing was that Squadron 42 was originally going to be the campaign of Star Citizen.
Right, and then it just separated off. It is its own fucking game now.
God, there's apparently like a 20-minute video of this. I need to watch it and see if it looks legit.
Speaking of legit, you know what's legit?
What's that?
G Fuel Kamehameha, pretty legit. Use the code GIGA at checkout to get nothing because I'm not sponsored.
My heart stopped for a second there when you started that.
Man, one day, right?
I watched a little bit of that video, Bob. It looks so unbelievably fake.
Oh God, I'm
like, it just looks so not real.
I'm excited for the next 5 years of Squadron 42 announcements.
I love this. What flavor is that? Kamehameha. What? Is that not a flavor in your brain? Because it should be. Yeah, I need to watch this video.
Yeah.
You know, we used to get a lot more of videos of that style at conferences.
Right?
This could be Microsoft's new hit. Are they going to buy Robert Space Industries? Oh, that would be perfect.
That'd be so good.
They get the infinite marketing cycle of, look, Star Citizen's almost done. Look at all these features. I saw a tweet from Alex Battaglia in the last week. It's like, oh, I went to CitizenCon, which is, oh my God, what a bad name. And they had all these features added to Star Citizen. It was shit that was unreal. It's like water physics and cloth physics and terrain destruction. I'm like, what year is it?
Microsoft better
We
get on
still
this
don't-
purchase. They won't be able to afford them soon.
That's true.
But Star Citizen's going to buy them.
I think there should be a law. There should be an actual law that you get punished if you break.
Mm-hmm.
If you are going to talk about Star Citizen at all,
Mm-hmm.
you have to self-report how much money you have put into anything related to Star Citizen. You should just have to tell me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I remember at one point Alex said how many ships he owned. And I can't remember what that was. Like, I didn't commit it to memory. He said and I was like, oh, okay, you got it. Well, we just talked about it. Let's go ahead and say how much we threw in. Bob, how much did you throw into Star Citizen?
I've not spent any money on Star Citizen.
Chris?
0.
Aggro?
I bought No Man's Sky at full price. I didn't put any money into Star Citizen.
Hey, and now that it's fixed and has a VR version, it's a real game.
It's pretty great.
It doesn't just have a VR version. They have a highly optimized, fucking radical looking VR version from what I understand. Also, for anyone wondering why I'm drinking G Fuel again, our gamer subs arrived. So I needed to build the base level expectation, right?
So excited to try Gamer Subs tomorrow.
These guys seem a little weird for this Mario stream, and I'm just like, I'm so full of guacamole gamer fart.
No.
Yeah,
So,
indeed. Anyway.
So the disk drive on the PS5 Slim requires online verification with a fucking voucher to pair to that specific console.
Disgusting.
A voucher? You mean like a
Like you
digital
have to-
certificate?
like a code.
Certification. Okay,
have to
okay.
put- This is apparently because of shit with Blu-rays.
Yeah. The Digital Millennium Copyright Act caused this. Thank you, Intel, for engineering HDCP. Thank you, the DMCA, for ruining everything.
Get the hammer, please.
I didn't know this that the most models of the PS4 have to have an online verification before they can play Blu-ray movies.
Yep.
Yep.
You gotta tap
I
into the
also,
servers.
I also didn't know that if you buy a Blu-ray player and don't update online every couple of years, you will eventually just not be able to play movies because it won't have the key.
Yeah, there are actually new keys for every new Blu-ray. So, like, I went through the steps to let myself play Blu-ray movies on my PC. And this has involved me downloading a list of every Blu-ray ever released. That's basically a code to unlock them. So when I got a brand new Blu-ray like Gunbuster, it doesn't run.
Well, it's a good thing that all this inconvenient shit defeated piracy forever, so there was any point whatsoever to any of this.
Yeah, I definitely can't just show
Hooray.
that same Blu-ray in and be like, rip it. And then
No, Bob, we're safe. We defeated the terrorists with this bullshit.
That's weird. How do people fill their Plex servers with movies if they can't rip Blu-rays?
You know, I've made this comparison to anti-piracy tech a lot, but once again, you're taking steps where you know how much money it costs to prevent losses that you have no idea how much they are, nor do you have any way to ever prove how much they are. Nor, in fact, can you prove the effectiveness of the measures you're taking to prevent these mystery losses.
Let me be real. There's no Blu-ray I can't find a way to rip if I gave a shit.
oh yeah, all
The
that
only reason-
stuff doesn't prevent it. Like I
No.
was saying, it doesn't stop it. You're to be like, make MKV. You made an MKV.
I'm even talking 4K Blu-ray. Like you can't stop me.
say
You can't stop
Say
me.
you believe in ghosts. Just
You
say you
can't-
believe in ghosts.
You can't
Yeah,
stop me. The
literally
moment
the-
I give a shit, you're done. The only reason you're not done is because I don't give a shit to do that yet.
Yeah,
Right,
here's
like-
the thing. Here's the thing that companies don't understand, and game developers also don't understand. Like, no company understands this. You only need to put up one barrier to stop the absolute laziest people, which make up 80% of the population at least.
At least.
Yeah,
I've
like,
worked a service job.
I think it's more like 99.
right.
Like you need to make it so that I can't send my friend a game through Discord, an EXE on Discord, and they just load it.
Exactly.
That's the only limit you need to have on this shit. Anything else is a waste because it only takes one step more determination to get past anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
Idiotic.
it
A
really
waste
is.
of human life. There are engineers engineering this shit that does nothing.
Right. It's like you can't. All you can do is make your thing available to purchase. That's the only anti-piracy you can have.
I mean, yeah.
Because if it's not available, they'll seal it.
Right.
And otherwise, they will just seal it. If they really want to, they will seal it.
Right.
Mhm. It's like buying $500 padlocks. Like, my guy, it's a padlock. It's fundamentally defeatable. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
This is not a solution to your problem.
Like,
This
You
is
know,
the
I know
lock-picking
I know
lawyer. I'm
people-
going to rip this Blu-ray.
I know people who live outside the Anglosphere, you know, US, Canada, UK, Australia, you know, maybe France if you're quirky. And they're like, well, I can't buy games anymore on Steam. I have to just start pirating them because they're getting rid of regional pricing, so I have to pay 4 times as much. Here's the thing fucked up I didn't know. Dirtbags are using VPNs to get different regional pricing on Steam.
Yeah.
And fucking over people who actually that
Uh-huh.
happened to Melty Blood type Lumina like in the past month, where they're
Mhm.
like, sorry guys in this region, we have to like triple the price of the game because too many Americans are using VPNs to change their region and get the game for like a third of the price.
Yeah, it's true. That's why the regional pricing thing is going away, because people were doing that. And it's like, I understand why you're trying to do that. But at the same
that
time,
has
you
to
need to
be-
understand why that price is that way for that region.
Mhm.
That has to be such a small amount of consumers overall who are buying your game that you just eat it. Just eat it.
right.
There are
Like, first, most people don't have a VPN, and most people with a VPN wouldn't think to do that.
You could do a feature-length film and be nowhere near done with your task of just explaining the myriad problems and complications and other things, systems, horrible entropy systems you set up by the globalization of markets and content.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just one story that would take up a minute of that movie, if even, where you just explain because digital marketplaces are the future and because they need to have one digital marketplace cover everything and all these things, economies of scale, everything else. You now have other regions used to get regional pricing, but because motherfuckers in a different region with a very different economics want to be able to log in as Argentina or fucking who knows where and get a game for cheaper.
Disgusting.
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks. It
Both
sucks.
the people doing it and their response to it. Both are disgusting.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I have one last news story.
Okay.
So, Saga Frontier's character designer put up a blog post talking about a Saga Frontier 2 remaster coming out in 2024. Then, like 2 hours later, took down the post and put up the post again without mentioning that.
Cool. I guess we should be excited for Saga Frontier in 2024.
Hell yeah.
I
Absolutely.
think Saga Frontier 2 is really neat. I wonder if they'll make it anything resembling a finished game, because that game is like bizarre in its weird incompleteness.
Yeah, that's the only Saga Frontier I had played until like whenever the last remake came out.
They're trying to medicate the horrible monster that's Saga Frontier 2, and it's flailing and throwing them off over and over.
It's not even a monster, just everything about its structure is bizarre.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's the definition of cryptid. Like, that thing's weird.
If you don't know, chat, the conceit of Saga Frontier 2 is you are viewing the history of a region over the lifetime of different characters. So you will like load in to a small episode of that character's life that can be months or years apart on the timeline. And if you don't go deep into a menu and make sure you're doing these episodes in sequential order, like in the order they happened in time, like chronologically, if you accidentally do one that's ahead of another, the one that's before just gets deleted.
What?
So it wasn't until like my fourth attempt at beating Saga Frontier 2, the time I finally beat it, that I learned that and was able to see a bunch of scenes I never saw before. Because playing it as a kid, when I used to rent it, I would just load in and be like, who are these fucking characters? I didn't do anything with this. What? Why are they here?
I want to play 13 Sentinels like that.
Absolutely.
But Saga Frontier 2 has a lot of interesting ideas. It also has a lot of ideas that maybe aren't so fucking interesting and they need to tamp that shit down. But it really does feel like there's just a big hunk of that game missing. And they did add a new story mode into
One. Yeah.
into one, yeah. Which obviously wasn't what that story was originally going to be. Like in the original drafts of the game when that character was originally going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
It is very obviously not what was going to be there.
Huh.
But yeah, if you don't know, in Saga Frontier 1, there's a character called Fuse who's a detective. And originally he was going to be the 8th character you could play as, like the 8th main character. And instead he was just someone you could recruit. In the remaster, they add in the Fuse's story, which is just him solving the cases of every other character's story. And there being like being alternate endings where like in the girl who's like the Utena vampire girl.
Yeah, I don't remember her name, but I know.
But like at the end of her story, he like kicks down the door and arrests the vampire lord.
What? Hell yeah.
It's good.
So I maybe there'll be some kind of edition like that. It would help a lot. But I'm glad. We need every PS1 RPG to get a remaster. Like they all deserve it.
Yes. Objectively the correct move.
But that's all the news.
That's all Chris's news.
Right.
Hey, Bob. Did you write this?
Yes, I wrote this. I watched.
There was the Xbox partner preview. Pew, 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 pew. Fucking play the hype Undertale music again. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that this was going live in 30 minutes and then went, I'm gonna go to the gym.
I mean, yeah, that's a pretty good choice. Bob, what the hell happened?
This event doesn't even have an announcer to introduce the games. This is just a series of trailers with the vaguest little like presentation random graphics from Xbox being like, this is our Xbox partner event. We couldn't get anyone to voice it. We couldn't get anything. It's just a set of stuff you can look at. So they open it up with a new Yakuza Infinite Wealth trailer.
Mm-hmm.
It shows off house building and like
Health building?
House.
Oh, house building.
Like they basically have their own Animal Crossing in this game.
Ooh.
So that's there. That's crazy.
No, that looked great. I like how it runs like shit because the camera's now in the sky looking at a bunch of houses and you're moving the wireframe.
Yeah.
It's like City Skylines too, for real.
Then they showed Ikaru will not die. Ikaru will not die.
Ikaru will not die.
This is a quote unquote spiritual successor to the Velocity series, made by the same people.
I thought I was the only one who remembered that.
Yeah.
Velocity 2X and stuff.
Yeah, 2X. It came out back at the launch of PS4.
Yeah.
This is only currently announced for Xbox Series and PC.
Okay.
It seems to be a 3D action game with running as well as combat. So I don't know exactly how close it's going to be to those games that are 2D and have no combat. The next game they showed was Still Wakes the Deep. It's a spooky game on an oil rig.
Okay. Who's making it?
The China Room.
You mean
The Chinese Room.
The China Room.
How are they going to be making that and making Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 at the same time?
It's a mystery.
They're both coming out next year, I think. Nothing's going to happen. We got new trailers for Dungeon of Hinterberg.
Dungeons of Hinterberg. I'm going to start reading these titles for you. Continue.
It's a bad-looking action RPG, like incredibly bad. Every attack looks really floaty and bad. It's got a really odd-looking cel-shaded look. And this is their trailer to show off the Persona-style social link system. All right.
That does
All
look
right.
really bad. What is going on? It looks like... I don't fucking know what it looks like. It does not look good. The environments look very bad. The character models look almost passable.
Yeah, but then they animate and then they look very bad.
It looks like a cel-shaded game from 2010, a Western cel-shaded game from 2010.
I was going to say a really banged up GameCube cel-shaded game. Like something about it looks like, from what I'm seeing so far, and maybe once I play this video, it'll look different, but it just looks like cel shading was done better.
Imagine if the Ubisoft Naruto game looked worse.
Imagine the people have no detail lines and the environment has 10 million detail lines. This is... Okay, we got to move on.
Yeah.
I don't want to punch this game's visuals. Or Spirit of the North 2.
Yep, this was announced. You play as a fox and a bird in a snowy environment. Don't really know much else.
That's what the 2 stands for.
Yes, there's 2 animals, which I believe the first one was just a fox.
Well, there you go.
The next one's Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, which we got a first in-engine preview. It's on Unreal Engine 5, and it's shown off at 30 frames per second.
But it'll run at 60 when they ship, right?
It had better.
I'm not buying it either way, so it really doesn't matter.
I realize it's a game I love, and they're making a new version, so I need to know what they did.
Yeah,
so
they're
regardless of what
making the
happens.
Battle for Bikini Bottom rehydrated version of it.
They're
making
trying
the
a little harder than
They're
that.
making the Yakuza Kiwami version of it.
Okay, that's
pretty
more,
much.
That's more respectable.
There's crouch, like, this feels like a version of the game specifically for the reviewers who banged on that new collection for Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 not having identical controls to modern games.
Oh, I didn't know that was happening. That's really stupid.
Yeah, that is really stupid.
That's like one of the biggest complaints from reviewers who coming back from these games. Like, they should have gone in and changed the controls.
Yeah, it sure looks like a high detail Unreal Engine 5 video.
Yep.
That obliterates all the color choices and tone of the original game, and seems like it's going to have mechanics from Peace Walker and Metal Gear Solid 5 that will trivialize the levels, which are still the same as we saw in this.
Oh, really?
Video.
I didn't know it had... What mechanics did they add from those?
Crouch walking.
Oh, okay. So they did show off crouch walking?
Yeah, they used to.
Oh, okay.
They showed that.
I always think of 4 when I think crouch walking. Yeah, that would drastically change it unless they're like, it doesn't affect your visibility. And I'm like, then why am I crouch walking?
Yeah, or they break the game by altering everybody's way like vision works for the guards.
Yeah, the weirdest part is so many of these animations look like they're pulled directly from the original 3.
That's
like,
why I
frame
compared to
matched.
That's why I compared to Yakuza Kiwami, which in
Yeah.
Yakuza Kiwami, they literally stick new models onto the exact same cutscenes, and you can tell when they're doing that because the mouth flaps become way simpler compared to the new content in that game.
Yeah, like literally when you watch Naked Snake do his like combo thing, it's the same literal animation. And I'm like, God, that's bizarre.
I saw like comparisons between the guards for like exact animations. It's like it's
Oh, wow.
exactly the same.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Watching it, I could tell.
Right. I want to see them put out a cutscene from this game. I want to know what that looks like. Will it have this
hyper realistic face, but he goes to smile and his cheek like stretches in the weirdest way you could imagine. Because that's the thing, the facial capture, the way they did animations rather in 3. Because the thing you need to know about Kojima, especially during the PS2 era, is those models had very few polygons and a huge amount of expressiveness. So whatever wizardry went into making the good animations and shit, it's gonna look fucking bizarre on a fucking Unreal Engine 5 quality face.
Oh yeah,
and
it's gonna be so strange.
And we know that they aren't getting the actors back to like redo everything and like actually get a camera in their face so they can properly do it. So it's gonna be
once
a mess.
once we found out that, I'm like, what is the point of this project if you're not even gonna re-record the dialogue? Like it just feels like it feels like because they have that Silent Hill 2 thing that is with Sony. This is not with Sony. So it feels like maybe Sony looked at this and went, no. We're not interested in exclusivity on this.
I'm sure Sony to some extent looked at who was making it and was like, because they do not have a pedigree.
No. Would you think that Sony would want to be in on anything Metal Gear related? Because they're so identified with them, but at the same time, they have the guy. Like they have Kojima. So
Kojima is the heart of Metal Gear.
Like I saw somebody saying, well, they're making this to like train people up on Unreal, and I'm like, guys, Konami isn't making this; it's outsourced.
Right. Yeah. Weird project. Not a great showcase of it. Stop doing weird things like this.
Before we move on to the next bullet, though, none of us picked up that PS5. None of us picked up the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection, did we?
Not yet. No, I'm just going to wait till it's cheaper.
Yeah, it's too expensive and came out in the middle of everything else coming out. When you have a collection like this, just put it out in summer or something.
Yeah, chances are if it ran at 4K, I probably would have picked it up even at full price just because I fucking love Metal Gear. But it's 720p, and I'm like, y'all need to fix that shit.
They're not gonna.
They might on PC. I bet we left consoles alone and people fixed it. Yeah.
People already fixed it on Metal Gear Solid 3 on PC. Like they got it to run at higher resolutions. There's some shit with 2 where they can't do that.
That makes sense. That's a game crafted around the PS2's specialty, being a fucking weirdo. Let's move on. Manor Lords.
Manor Lords.
Yes, that's right. The Manor Lords.
This is a medieval town builder / combat game. They didn't really show how the combat worked, but the town building looked like it was a pretty involved interface where you could adjust a bunch of little things. I don't know if it's going to be turn-based or real-time. It was pretty unclear, but this is hitting the PC Game Pass game preview mode. So I guess it's like a early access for Xbox.
Every time we talk that this comes up, I get so mad. You motherfuckers keep that shit off console. We do early access. First of all, I understand early access for indie devs. Keep that shit off console.
Well, this is off console. It's just PC.
And
it's Xbox Game Pass, PC Game Pass, game preview.
Yes. And then it's going to come to consoles later. It's unclear if that's the game preview or the full game. But the PC Game Pass game preview is April 26th next year. So that's not even that soon. So who knows what's happening with that. And then the next piece of news is that Finals beta went up This is where they announced it.
Oh, okay. That explains why it snuck up and no one knew about it. 'Cause
Right.
They announced it at an Xbox event that Xbox didn't even try out.
Yeah, they didn't try to promote the event or make the event even serviceable in the least. Then they showed Ark Survival Ascended.
Is that the remake?
That's the remake.
Okay.
That's the remake of the first game.
In Unreal Engine 5.
In Unreal Engine 5. Fuck. The trailer ended was a coming soon to early access on PC, or it's currently in early access on PC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that sure was really high fidelity.
Cool. I need to watch that trailer to see how high that high fidelity is.
Is it worth it for the $75,000 they want for that version of the game?
It's okay. You get the second game for free or some shit. I don't remember.
Yeah, unless they might have backed out on that. I don't know anymore. And then the final thing they ended on, Alan Wake 2 was a trailer and a little gameplay preview for a game that came out this week.
Today.
It
came out today.
The game is Alan Wake 2 looks super cool, guys. You notice that?
looks pretty cool. I'm not sure I have enough time to prepare myself for Alan Wake 2. There's so much Alan Wake media to consume here. This is a lot. It's 42 hours. This is 42 and a half
That's
hours.
a lot of hours.
I don't think Alan Wake is that Twin Peaks core. Like, there's obviously
Right,
a
you're
little
right.
bit of it in there.
Obviously, we're going to have to go watch some Stephen King movies.
That's probably closer, yeah. Or God, Clive Barker. I feel like there's some Clive Barker in there.
But that was the event. That was the, what was this called? Xbox Partner Preview. Or
That way you can preview the Xbox partner.
I guess.
This is something that just does, again, journalists will never bring this up. Like, they won't even observe it. I'm not even sure if they've noticed, where it's just like, everybody does showcases about what's coming out except Microsoft, except for the one they do in the summer. Like, do they ever do other showcases? I don't think they do. Like,
Tokyo Game
never
Show
have, like,
and this.
So if there's a gaming event, but it's not like they don't have State of Plays or Nintendo Directs. They don't have their equivalent to those.
They haven't got on top of nailing the cadence, the branding, the importance, which part of that is a real chicken and egg situation of you need to make Xbox matter for people to talk about Xbox mattering and Xbox announcing a thing.
I mean, look at the branding on this. It basically didn't exist. Like I said, they didn't even get a narrator to talk.
We don't even have to go that deep even. What the fuck is this name? Xbox Partner Preview?
Yeah, please come enjoy these trailers for upcoming games made by everyone but us, because we don't do that anymore.
Yeah, hey, Xbox, this one's for free. Call these the Xbox exhibits.
That easy.
Someone over there is too cowardly to do that. Because they're like, it's not the 90s anymore. You can't do that.
I mean, we got reports about them being genuinely upset that people called it the X-Bone last gen.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they were furious, which is why the journalists who are really big Xbox fans are like, gamers are being childish by calling it that. I'm like, weren't you racist about Sony last week? That's it for the Xbox Partner Preview, the worst named one of these.
Yep.
I thought State of Play was a little weak compared to Nintendo Directs, but here's Xbox Partner Preview to be like, no, it turns out that guy can run. I'm not going to win this marathon. I can't even walk.
Yeah, they don't have a branding that even represents something that most of them could do. Like, there's no even hint that there could have been Xbox stuff here.
Right. I mean, some of it wasn't even on Xbox. Some of it was just PC.
Yeah. With the promise of coming to Xbox at some point.
Eventually, before the heat death of the universe. We have some late breaking news.
Yeah.
Skull and Bones is now expected in early 2024. Technically, a delay in as much as they've announced the new date.
I saw this and I was like, that's not news.
It's technically not,
because this is
that's what I saw.
Yeah, literally, this is just on a conference call.
They're like, it's coming. I swear.
And here's my take. No, it isn't. Like, I don't believe you. That you're saying we will get this game out in 4 months. No, you won't. You'd be showing it at all unless it is literally going to be a No Man's Sky tier. We didn't fucking make a game. like it's either a cyberpunk or it's not coming out in 4 months.
Once again, you can hire us. We're consultants, just pay us some money and we'll tell you whether or not your game's even coming out.
Yeah, just release it to the extent that you're obligated by the government and move on.
I am waiting for because when companies won't say something's a loss until the game's actually out. Like they'll just be like, well, it's development costs until then. I'm just waiting for it to be sneak in some week, like in March, where it's like Ubisoft expects to take a $400 million loss on Skull and Bones.
I sit there and I'm like, I've never ever once had to conceptualize. Ship your game to the legally enforced and mandatory level. So that way you don't get in legal trouble. And then it's like, what is this, Rhode Island? What the fuck's going on here? How many years ago was that fucking 7th gen Rhode Island cross-funding bullshit fucking video game?
Yeah.
That was Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning.
Mm-hmm.
God damn.
Yeah, when was that?
That was a long bake between that and this moment.
2015?
No, it was a 7th gen game.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, good lord.
Uh-huh. That might have been 2011 or 10.
It was 12, I think, because I believe people were comparing it to Skyrim when it came out.
When was the... Who was the famous... There was a famous baseball player who was also involved in this, right?
Oh, God. What was that?
Yeah, that's the guy. The name of the guy at the top escapes me because sports? Especially
Right.
MLB? I don't fucking know.
Yeah, no, I just thought that was so funny. Like, every part of that.
What a fucking circus. This
Right.
isn't even fun because no one's talking about the fact that Singapore government is going to have their head or whatever.
Right. Why are we the only ones who bring that up every time?
I don't know.
What was his name?
Chat is saying Kurt Schilling, and someone else
That
goes,
is correct.
That
Kurt
can't
Schilling.
be his real name. Come on. That's great. But that's it. That's it for news.
Yeah.
Now we get to talk
I
about...
remember
Oh.
I remember Kurt Schilling because when people were talking about student loan forgiveness, he kept starting shit on Twitter and people kept quoting, "The state of Rhode Island gave you $50 million you burned away," and then him responding, "Well, they took a risk and lost."
That's when you delete your Twitter account.
That Ubisoft thing also, they promised some still yet unannounced thing coming out in the fiscal year after.
Huh.
The next
I'm
Avatar
like-
game.
Yeah, sure. Oh God, that comes out in like a month. Another thing that seems like it's just gonna either I'm gonna be as wrong as I was with Hogwarts Legacy, or that shit's gonna hit the wall and explode. December is always risky.
Yeah, I have to wonder if there's even going to be an event that they could come in and show off again. I guess it
Game
Game
Awards.
Awards, yeah.
Wait, is the Game Awards in November? The start of November?
I think it's the very
the
first
start of
week of December.
That's too close.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Avatar thing's first week of December, isn't it?
Yeah, it's December 7th, so it is probably the day after the Game Awards.
Wow, yeah, that's...
It's the same day, so not a great opportunity for marketing a game that's already out.
No, not really.
It's better than nothing.
I guess there's always, like, there should be a state of play before that. There should be.
Should
Well,
there be?
I feel like we're due for one.
Oh, yeah. There's a state of play in the next
was-
2
there
months
was a-
easily.
No, the next month, Dan.
The next month and a week.
Yeah, I don't think so. Like, I don't even think, like, especially now that all those games are getting fucking canceled.
I know, that's where it's like, maybe we aren't due for one because of problems, but...
Time for a State of Play partner showcase. See that word? Xbox Showcase. You're showcasing them. You're not previewing your partners. Learn the English language. I'm sorry. It bugs me a lot.
Yeah.
By the way, if you're listening to this right now and it just went up, Returnal's on sale on Amazon for like $28. Maybe do that. That's a great price.
That's like
for
the
that
price
game.
that should have launched that. Yeah.
Yeah, it really should have launched in the 30 to 40 range. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
That was not a $70 fucking video game. I'm sorry you strapped in a bunch of cinematic expensive shit. Probably shouldn't have.
I'm sorry, Jim Ryan.
I'm sorry, Jim Bryan. He says, lifting up his homemade shotgun. And he's like, you're sorry? And Bob's like, wait, no, that other thing. I'm here to kill you, Jim Ryan. And I'm like, thank you for calling into my podcast, Vice President of Sony Interactive Entertainment.
Yeah, Jim Ryan's gonna get popped with that same shit that got Shinzo Abe.
Yeah, fucking, oh my God.
The TF2 unusual.
Yeah, speaking of which, fucking Jeff Gerstmann. There we go. I had a ja sound in my mouth, and I was like, "What is it?" No, Jeff Gerstmann was talking about the new Call of Duty's beta. Has 3D printed shit you stick on the pistols to make them semi-automatic, which is like a real thing. And he's like, "What the fuck? That is hyper illegal."
I didn't know that was real. So when I unlocked it, I thought nothing of it.
Oh, that was the thing. That this has been like discourse for a while because people are like, yeah, because there's I forget the name. Aggro probably knows the core part of a gun that is super fucking regulated.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually like the trigger group or
people started to 3D print them and everybody lost their mind. Like, like if you can 3D print this, there's no managing guns at it ever anymore.
Let's see, you're thinking about this the wrong way. You're like, oh, well, there's no reasonable way to have a series of laws about this. Let me introduce you to the ATF, who exist not within the realm of human reason, but from a chaos dimension of arbitrary guidelines and absolute nonsense.
Yeah, so that was insane to hear. I had no idea that was in that game, and that is fucking something. That is something. Yeah.
Yeah, because that was like the final one, like in the beta. It was like, oh, why does the pistol look so weird? And it's like got a plastic shell over it.
You're like, man, this model looks like shit.
Yeah, I didn't realize that it was that.
So one last thing. Sales numbers from Famitsu from the past week have come out. Let's play a fun game.
Okay.
Percentage-wise, how much did Sonic Superstars sell versus Mario Wonder?
5.
Dan?
%12.
Aggro.
I believe we're going 15.
0.7. Mario Wonder sold 650,000 copies and Superstars sold, I think, 4,300. You shouldn't have shipped that game on the same day as the first good 2D Mario in 15 years.
Yeah, I can't. Like, I like Sonic. I had no desire to buy it when it was the same week as Mario. What are you doing? Like, literally none.
Like, and that's Japan, and Sonic has been squishy in Japan for years and years. But good God, Sega better pray that Western sales look nothing like that.
Yeah.
Like, Spiderman, sure, that's a different market locked to a console that doesn't have most Sonic fans on it. You launched on the same day as Mario Wonder. You could have delayed that game to January. And according to a lot of people who played it, should have.
Yeah, that's another game none of us picked up, right?
No, I was like, well, it'll be $30 on Black Friday, so if I want it, I can get it then.
Yeah, between that and I'm this is not an announcement of content, but I was hoping to play that using the incredible powers of Parsec once I moved to God tier internet with a friend.
They burned me last year when I bought Sonic Frontiers, and then a week later they're like, what if it was $20 cheaper?
Right, yeah, like we both fell into you bought it before and then I bought it when it was $20 cheaper, and it was just like, fuck.
Yeah. And then your game that's obviously a much smaller scale is launching at 60 for some reason.
Yeah, and that's Jesus Christ. And also, that wasn't even a week later. Someone in the Discord had this conversation and went to check the receipts. It was 2 days.
Yeah.
But yeah, the main reasons I'm staying away from Superstars, one, it launched the same week as that. Two, I'm very busy this week, 2 12-hour streams and a 15-hour gaming session. And then on top of all of that, as Chris said last week, it's undoubtedly going to go down in price. And I hear every boss in that game takes too many hits. And after Sonic 4, I want to space that out as much as humanly possible, because that is... Yeah. Unfortunately, I already saw fan art of that character from that game without the helmet on, and I'm spoiled. Actually, it wasn't even fan art. Somebody was just playing, and apparently the helmet comes off, and I was like, fuck! God damn it! What are the only things I had to look forward to?
I didn't even know there was the character's helmet on.
You didn't know?
I didn't know.
It's a cute character with a helmet on, and it's like, oh, look at this fun little
I
character.
just knew-
They're trying to help Fang, the hunter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who snipes people and kills them.
With his 3D printed trigger housing.
Bang is painted his 3D printed trigger alteration.
Why did this game sell in Japan? Fang just uses his homemade shotgun by Sonic, and we're like, Sega, what were you thinking? Oh man, okay.
Yeah, it was really messed up when Fangs assassinated Knuckles.
Yeah, that's not okay. Everyone loves Knuckles because he loves grapes, and everyone loves grapes. That's it, though. I'm on a random gaming website. I guess this is GameSpot. I have ad block on, so all the ads are blocked, and this looks barren. But I think ad block has inserted an ad that is a small shot of a lady looking in a mirror. And the shot's from behind and very low. So really, the shot is of her ass. And then if you look very closely in the mirror, it shows a zombie running up. I'm like, what the fuck am I looking at here, GameSpot? And then it says, strategize to survive shitty mobile game. Please click me. Thank you, Adblock. You're so fucking helpful. Thank God I'm not looking at 7 shitty ads. I'm just looking at one really shitty ad. But that's it. We got to talk about what we got going on, right? Bob.
Yeah.
Tomorrow we're playing Mario Wonder. I'm extremely excited. That is going to be a great time. Eric will be there. Please be excited. After that, so you remember how I just said I did 2 12-hour streams and a 15-hour gaming session in between, and this weekend, I believe Sunday, tentative time for this, the 24-hour Tony Hawktober Marathon will happen to you. So if you want to chill to some fucking Tony Hawk, that may not get a VOD anywhere anyhow.
Yeah.
Right? Because we aren't just going to play other music. You got to play the Tony Hawk music.
If it was a smaller stream, I might play other music.
Right.
But this is a 24-hour Tony Hawk Marathon.
Come hang out, listen to Power Man 5000. Maybe Dan will say it. There's not going to be a VOD. Who knows what could happen?
Oh my God.
Yeah, all that will be left will be the clip from the end of that stream when Dan realizes the counter hasn't gone down at all.
God, I keep sitting here and I was like, Castlevania Marathon, I'm going to stream later tonight. That'll get them. Guys, it went down a total of 10 minutes due to a few people showing up and being like, here's $200. I have to believe in the Tony Hawk 24-hour marathon.
And just so we're clear, we have to do this because it's the end of Tony Hawktober. We're running out of time.
We're running out of time.
So, Dan, do you think there's some kind of karmic connection between this never-ending donathon and the times you're stuck in a the hyperbolic golden corral? Like, imagine you were stuck in the golden corral to finish it. Like, finish what? And these gestures.
I don't anticipate my mother ever hearing this, but Mother, I must apologize to you. This is way better than that. Jesus. You have no... I get trapped in a dinner at a restaurant or a golden corral. And I just have
Absolutely
to
not a restaurant. Thank you for the discernment.
I have to feel bad for any employee there every time because it's now hour 3. And I just like, she's so tired of getting me this drink. She's tired of looking at us.
Yes, of 3 tables being taken up in her section.
So this is way better than that. However, it also feels like a gravitational well I can't escape from. But this Tony Hawk 24-hour marathon will do damage to this timer. Bob, why don't you have a look of belief on your face?
Nothing else has worked. I don't expect this to work either.
God damn it! It's gonna work. It's gonna work. You're all gonna see.
We the only thing they'll ever get is we exclusively do 3-hour streams that start at 1 a.m.
It's the only way. We
It's the
have
only
to
way.
stream when no one will watch.
No one will watch. We do it every day for 3 hours only. We can't go until too late because then it'll be morning. People wake up.
We're like, okay, we need to choose a game no one cares about. We're going to stream Excite Bots. And then someone's like, oh, fuck, I'm a new person on this channel. Excite Bots is a great game. Here's $500. And I'm like, no! Too exciting! Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! Yeah, so anyway, and after that, I have 2 Castlevanias to beat. 2 left on the Classic Vania Challenge.
You
the
do.
Adventure Rebirth and Dracula Lakes Chronicles. So I guess that's somewhere around Wednesday, Tuesday.
I mean, technically, we don't have a stream plan for the Halloween itself.
Yeah, so there you go. And that's our streaming plans for next week. Please go to gigaboots.live to watch that. Chris, what have you got going on?
So we're gonna test my Eye of Sauron-esque powers a little bit. So this weekend on Saturday and maybe another day, I don't know how long it'll take. I don't remember how long this game is. I'm gonna stream Psychonauts, and then we're gonna go to Brutal Legend, and then Broken Age, and then Psychonauts 2.
He's trying to kill them.
Dead in
Jesus
Miami.
Christ. What the hell?
They
so
actually made a bunch.
vicious.
They made a bunch of other games, but none of those are real. I'm only including the ones that I dictate are real. And what my definition for real is were sold in a store or had a big notable Kickstarter campaign associated with them. Because I think Broken Age was the very first big game Kickstarter, even before Mighty Number 9.
It was incredibly
It was.
early.
Yeah, it was the one.
And then they
Shenmue, Mighty
came out
Number
and
9,
said-
those came later.
And then they came out and said, we ran out of money, so we're going to ship a third of the game first and then later ship the rest.
It's okay because they said it was half of the game first. But
It's all right.
I'm
We got
guessing
Elijah Wood.
Where'd the money go?
I don't know. It's a mystery.
So we're gonna stress test how whether or not it was actual power or a coincidence.
Can someone? I don't normally ask audience for art. I feel bad being like, I'm so funny, you should draw a thing. But can you draw Tim Schafer doing a quirky position in Dio's spot in the frame and then the reverse shot of Chris in a JoJo style? How else am I going to kill your company? God. Just in my head, I could see Tim Schafer's fucking like body like language in the distance down the sidewalk.
He has the 2 sock puppets on his hands.
Oh man, this is really fucked up though. There should be clear what my stance is on this. Because for people just joining us, for the people who haven't watched the last season of GigaBoots, we stream a franchise and it gets a new entry, and it's pretty cool. Chris streams a franchise and the company goes under.
Yeah, that seems to be what's going on. I streamed all the modern BioWare games, and now they've like cut almost every writer they had and just slashed the company. I did the new Tomb Raiders, and then they slashed the people who worked on that and sold it to Amazon. I did all the Saints Rows earlier this year, and then they killed that company. It I don't believe in the occult, but now we have to test it.
Oh, Mushblush in chat saying after we stream Pizza Tower, I got free DLC updates. What the fuck? I didn't even know about that.
Oh
Cool.
man, did they bring back playing as the noise from the from like one of the earlier versions?
Yeah, I have to wonder what they added. Maybe I should look into it. Or maybe I should play Pseudo Regalia again. I'm basically the Lasagna Cat video where John's sitting there and he's like, or maybe I should do this again. And Garfield's like, there's no difference to him. But
God, Lasagna Cat is so brilliant. One of the most brilliant internet projects ever made.
Basically, Lasagna Cat is the Undertale of YouTube videos. Am I lying? Guess you're going to have to watch all of them to find out. Oh, and I ordered a wireless Bluetooth receiver for the Mister.
Okay.
So that way we can hook up our N64 controller to the N64 core, and we can do, after all of these things, which everything I said needs to happen by the end of October, we can do the N64 core sort of like our personal roulette, where it's like, can it play all of our childhood favorite games? ? How well can it work? Because I've been a backer of that guy this whole time. And as I said on the Castlevania stream, I'm going to say it again. That dude needs to make the PS2 Mr. Core on any scale of FPGA, and I will fund him till the end of the world. That man will basically be a child to me that I pay money. I will pay my child support to that man. We need the PS2 FPGA core. Like, I don't care how expensive the FPGA is. I don't care how long it takes. I don't care how many contractors you need to bring in to help you get it done. We need it done. Oh, and we got a PS2 HDMI mod. I forgot to say that. Our PS2 has an HDMI port on the back.
Crazy.
Asterisk. PS2 or HDMI micro. Motherfuckers.
Disgusting. How could they do
It's terrible. What a terrible fucking port. Jesus Christ. But yeah, things look really nice on that. So at some point in time, we're gonna stream something on that because man,
it's hype.
It looks really nice. And there is the Wave 2 reward that we haven't hit yet. The goal to play Bujingai. So now that playthrough will look pretty nice.
Yeah, well,
hell yeah. Anyway, let's see. So that's that, and then Chris with he's gonna take his psychic shotgun to Tim Schafer's company. Aggro, what do you have going on in the next week?
Well, having neither the powers of instant death nor true resurrection at my beck and call, I'm probably going to go out and get a corkboard and some thumbtacks and a spool of yarn and try and figure out what the fuck happened to Little Devil inside, because that's really starting to worry me.
We just wait for another state of play. It'll show up again, aggro. It's real.
Oh yeah, that thing.
Yeah, it's one of those like half dozen indie games that sort of they get announced and then fade into the background for 5 years. And I feel like a few have done this.
Oh man, this thing is so old that its Kickstarter campaign listed the Wii U.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's one of those things.
Oh man, its Kickstarter
undying.
was in May 2015. Oh my god.
It is a shambling undead thing.
Well, that's gonna do it. Chris is making more corpses. We're resurrecting the dead. Aggro's trying to find the bodies.
Trying to find that fine line between archaeology and tomb raiding.
That's gonna do it for Big Thick this week. See you all next time.
Wow.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Big Think Dimension. Big Think Dimension is only possible because of you and your support over at patreon.com/gbpodcast, where you can get access to many things such as commentary tracks for around 70 movies, Isolation 119, which is a movie, Gamer Premonitions Extra, Armchair Devs Extra, some words I probably typed a couple of times. I don't know. Patreon.com/gbpodcast.